LAT Racing Oils is invested in winning. With industry-leading at-track support, superior engineering, blending technology, and the World Championships to prove it, LAT is your premier choice for racing lubricants. Used by NHRA Pro Mod champions Jose Gonzalez and Chris Thorne along with their closest competitors, LAT Racing Oil continues to carry top-level racers to the winner's circle in all categories of competition. From engine oil to transmission fluid and gear oil, LAT has you covered from end to end in your race car. A nationwide dealer network means easy access to our products as well. Visit LATRacingOils.com for more.
Alrighty, everybody. Welcome back to SimTraX Broadcasting. It's Patrick Morrison coming to you live here from Iowa Motor Speedway. Interesting track we're going to be seeing here tonight. It is extremely slick out there. Drivers are going to be trying their best to keep in contact with the ground here tonight. I said even out there in the bio that the bumpy track is going to give these drivers a ton of problems out here tonight, and especially in these next-gen cars. We've seen guys slide up the track and have a little trouble, but the way these cars move a little bit or kind of shifting around, guys are having some trouble out there, and we're seeing what in the world they can do and what they can actually come up with. Now, I would say different opportunities out here for plenty of the drivers, and they're trying to keep their eye on most of the guys out here that are currently running. There's a possibility of a little bit of wall riding out there that guys can do, so a little Ross Chastain move, and they are going to try to keep that to a minimum out here. But it's going to be harder than they expected. A lot of guys are getting some fast times out here and definitely making the best of it here tonight. Joining alongside me tonight, as always, here for Season 14 will be Jackson Knock out there with Mailbox Media. He's going to be ready to kick it in here in just a moment, but as we kind of take a quick look here at qualifying, we'll take a peek at what our race will consist of here, and as we get going here for the Filming the Wild 160. 160 obviously going ahead and indicating 160 laps at this almost 1 mile track. We'll have one stage where we'll be at lap number 56, 70% fuel limit. I think they'll have plenty of fuel out there for tonight. 4 sets of tires, though. I will say any guys who are going to be trying a couple of different schemes out here and plans of attack for a little bit of strategy may use more tires than they need. Of course, one fast repair. This will be the fixed setup. I'll be your lead producer, Jackson Knock, joining alongside me here tonight on this 75-degree night, and Dalton Kilrow will be kicking it out there for race control. He's been doing a fantastic job so far this season. And Jackson, right now, a lot of guys have been trying some different stuff out there. I would say during practice, a lot of guys have had the bodywork men very, very busy.
Yeah, we saw during practice a couple cars, like you said, on the wall. Some very fast times off the wall as well. So, like you said, they're going to be really cracking down on that in the race. If someone passes for the lead, touches the wall at all, I'm fairly certain that's not going to be allowed at all. But no, a couple drivers were talking about how difficult the track is, especially in this car and track combination. A couple drivers feel that tonight's going to be heavily, much more of a caution fest. I don't know about that. Iowa usually has been pretty all right for us, so we'll see how it goes in the next gen.
I've got to admit, I really hope it's not a caution fest out here. I would really like to see these guys duke it out on a short track and everybody do their best out here and try to get some speed, as Bob Barry proves me otherwise. A little bit of goosing the throttle there and smacks it into the wall as qualifying does end. No surprise here that Benjamin Lacey and Brett Guzik will be in our front row. I've got to admit, these guys have been really on a tear here lately, and they know exactly what they need to do. Now, checking out there in the chat, I know I see Hambone out there. I see Mocha Supreme and Margot Guzik. Appreciate you guys joining us, but the one that I like circling out there is Nick Nickerson. In the chat, but not on the track. But what you know, Jackson, I'm looking kind of how Nick Nickerson. Yes, this guy's got a ton of wins, but right now, I mean, is he trying to kind of play from a hole here to get season 14 going?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I mean, you know, I'm guessing Nick has a lot going on, but definitely if Nick was here, he's real good in the next gen. He'd be up front every time. I'm sure a lot of the drivers are, you know, unhappy that they don't get to see him, but at the same time, pretty happy that he's not on track with him.
Well, I would say it's kind of like the movie The Knight's Tale. You know, if you're not getting the top dog, you're not 100% sure if you're that guy. You might just be batting second the whole time. I think, you know, drivers gave Nick Nickerson a run for his money. Drivers like Benjamin Lacey out there. Marshall Crocker as well had some, definitely some great racing out there on the road courses. Brett Guzik to be another one of them. And right now, Curtis Yancey, if you remember a little bit of the last race, that number 51 machine, try to put it in a nice way, he was wheeling that car and showing us what it could do, but I think it was a lot more dangerous than a lot of people wanted to race around out here tonight. A couple of people out there have made a vote out there, and they are thinking the possibility that John Osborne might be the favorite to win here tonight. Jackson, kind of what's your take on the 81 Chevrolet possibly coming in for a win here?
Yeah, I mean, he was real good at Phoenix last season in the next-gen car. Obviously, this track is very different from Phoenix, but still kind of got that short track, you know, very careful on the throttle type technique. And especially in the next-gen, it's very different, that being careful on the throttle comparatively to, say, the Xfinity car or the truck. And John Osborne seems to have that figured out. So if John Osborne can put himself where he needs to be, I think he's in a good place to win this one.
Yep, and I think a lot of things that guys also don't consider as well, brake bias. Now, a lot of guys will shift it toward the front to definitely help them slow down. Yes, that will work. But Jackson, I think you and I both know shifting it to the back will assist in turning. But it does come at a risk. You start stabbing that brake, the back end of the car whips around, and then your night is over.
I say take the front brakes out. We don't need calipers, rotors, nothing up front. Only in the back. That's how I like it, especially at Iowa. Definitely got to get some of that rear steer on entry to the corner. A lot of these drivers talk about how it just did not turn on entry to the corner. So definitely going to see some brake bias way towards the back. I wouldn't be surprised to see people spinning on entry later in the race.
Yep. Yeah, heavy braking from the rear brakes early into the turn. A lot of guys make the mistake here at Iowa of braking too late into the turn. They hit that bump on turn exit of number 4, and it just ends up slinging them around when they get back onto the gas, and we are hoping for the best that does not happen. I do want to make a quick correction if you guys had tuned in last week. I had kind of been riding the number 77 Ford out there for Marshall Crocker kind of being a little slow. That is actually my fault. That would actually be Marshall Crocker Sr. in the 77 and Juniors in the 78. Oddly enough, we will have the Crocker family racing team out here tonight, both of them in the 77 and the 78. So a lot of guys are going to be pretty excited to see how the Crockers can do here tonight. And I would say, it's not just Junior spotting for Dad out there, but this may be like a Dale Earnhardt and a Junior scheme out here that these two go at it. All right, they are going ahead and getting finished up with their drivers' meeting. Jackson Knock, we are looking at about another 5 or so minutes. Any other driver you think we should pull down here and have a chat with? I was starting to feel about the number 82.
82 sounds good. We could also think about Mark Allen Bivens in the number 76. He's our points leader. He's feeling pretty okay about this race. Talking to him earlier, has some gripes with the next gen, but, same time he's a points leader, so he can't really complain. But we could get the 82 in here as well.
All right, so I'll let you go ahead and take away with Mark Allen Bivens. I'll go ahead and let you interview him and get the questions you want to get out Go ahead, buddy.
Mark Allen Bivens, points leader, been doing really good in the last couple of races. You were talking about during practice, you weren't a big fan of this car and track combination. Tell me about the reasons why and really how you think you're going to do today, and if you can keep that points up high towards the front.
Bro, he was just talking up there. Mark, you're horrible. Absolutely horrible. All right, let me see if we
in
can.
The bathroom, I tell you what.
Yeah, maybe we'll see if he's able to bring it back. We'll check in on Paul Wilson. Paul, you out there, buddy? No way.
Yes, sir.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
Almost. I thought we were going to be 0 for 2 there for a second. Paul, tough racing here so far, man. A lot of things have been working against you here tonight. What are you looking to do to capitalize here on Iowa?
I'm going to try and keep the car under me all night. It's going to be a tricky race for sure. It's going to take a lot of patience, and hopefully we can just keep it under us, and hopefully the high line comes in and we make it to the end.
Man, I know the trouble out here with the track is a rough surface. Anybody out there that you're like, maybe I can follow along with this guy, or anybody you've taken tips from, or people taking tips from you?
I'm just going to stick to my GFR teammates and get us to the end.
All right, Paul Wilson, we'll be rooting you on up here from the booth. That's Paul Wilson, the number 82. Good luck to you, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
All right, let's go ahead and getting him. See, Mark Allen Bivens has escaped us once again, so maybe we'll get you to team up here with the 83. Pretty close there with Jason Greenwell. Jackson, go ahead and take it, buddy.
Jason Greenwell, couldn't quite catch up to you, see how your practice was going, but I know you've usually been a little bit faster than me the majority of the time in this car. I've not seen you on this track. Tell me about how you're feeling going into Iowa, and what do you need to do to get towards the front?
I think it's going to be a lot of patience, right? So this car, the bumps, it doesn't really like it a whole lot, right? So, got to watch out for it trying to plow on the way in and then getting nasty loose coming off those bumps. So a lot of patience, a lot of survival, and just kind of letting the race come to me. That's the whole plan.
How do you think tires are going to come into play? Do you think there's going to be a lot of wear? Do you think you're going to be able to do a lot of long runs? These next-gen tires, very wide, short tire wall. How do you think that's going to affect how we see the short track racing today?
Yeah. I hope to get some long runs, so, being patient plays out in your favor, right? Because that's kind of my plan here. It gets a little sketchy if you try to do too much, hot lapping out there. But it really depends on how the cautions fall, right? So I worry a little bit about the bumps bumping folks into each other. So gonna just have to see how it goes. And as announcers like to say, cautions breed cautions, right? So
oh yeah,
gotta go out there and keep your head on a swivel.
Well, I hope you can keep that nose clean. Good luck out there, and we'll see you on the track.
All right, thank you, buddy.
All right, get a good piece there from Jason Greenwell. Kind of get more of a driver's standpoint of how it feels out there on this track. I know a lot of guys are going on and taking a look at some of our guys up here, seeing how they feel about this track. I noticed we are trying to grab a couple of them to have a conversation with them, but they seem to quickly scurry right back. I think the biggest thing I would be confused about or nervous of if something really big is happening up there. I know I was trying to grab a hold of the 84 of David Lakey, but maybe we should pick somebody outside of the 80s. Looks like Mr. Weaver in the 18 is not available. We talked to Mr. Haggy last week, and we'll see. Well, you know what? What do you say we bring down the big cheese? Yeah, we'll bring the big cheese. Bill Harkins out there. Bill, you got. I'm sure you got a copy on me here, man. Dude, what in the world is this race going to take to keep this thing at a minimum amount of cautions here tonight?
A miracle, a prayer from Jesus, and 6 extra tires added to the car.
6 extra tires, just on the right sides?
Yeah, we'll take them wherever we can get more traction.
All right. Well, what does it seem to be that the guys are missing out here, or even, I'm not saying you, but or even your car? What does the car feel like it's doing when you're heading around the turns? I mean, is it just the roughness of the track, or is it the suspension is just too tight on these things?
Well, considering I'm 60 years old, so I'm a 70s kid, it feels exactly like a skateboard designed in the 70s, with the steel wheels and the ball bearings is what this car feels like on this track.
This thing hammers around pretty good. All right, well, if there's anybody out there who I think who crashed into the wall out there in the Mrs. D's nuts, you know, it looks like you're racing in a different Geezer Authentic scheme out here. You're hoping it's going to bring you some luck, maybe, if we can get you in the top 10.
Yeah, in interest of PG, I'm just tired of cracking the nuts on my car into the wall. So, time to get rid of that paint scheme.
All right, Bill. Well, we are hoping the best for you out there, man. I think your time is due. I just don't know which track. It's got to happen sometime. And maybe you start not giving these guys as much room out there when they start bumping into you.
Well, I can tell you which track. It's called the Hot Wheels track that I had back when I was a kid. That's the one that I'm due at. Because here, on iRacing, this is a young man's game.
Nah, maybe it's a game of patience. Maybe I have to ride these guys out for a bunch of laps. Bill, good luck to you out there, buddy, and hopefully you have a good night here tonight, and hopefully a top 10 finish.
Yep, thanks.
All right, Bill Arkins getting ready here for this race. All right, we are getting locked and loaded here. Yes, all drivers are getting in there, and this will be brought to you by LAT Racing Oil as we go ahead and get to our starting grid here for tonight. I can't wait. Benjamin Lacey and Brett Guzik will be starting in the number 1 and 2 positions. Marshall Crocker Jr., yep, that's him, in third, as Curtis Yancey will be to his outside. The 51 machine has been extremely dangerous here at this track. Let's see if he can hold on to it. Connor Gibson, the Sour Patch Kid, will be sitting behind him with John Osborne, the favorite to win, so that's already our front 3 rows. Willie Evernham sits in 7th, Brandon Jackson 8th, Peter Murphy 9th, and rounding out our top 10 sits Kevin Foster. Moving on to Eddie Hagge, who's in the 11th position next to Austin McGill. McGill had a hell of a race here last time, and we'll see if he can duplicate that same finish. And Jackson, go ahead and take it from here, brother. Starting with Ethan Sikorsky.
Starting in 13th, Ethan Sikorsky out of New York. In 14th, Ricky Hart Jr. In 15th, Matt Crockett. 16th, Mark Allen Bivens. 17th, Pedro Leon. In 18th, Bill Harkins, the man we were just talking to. 19th, David Lakey, starting on his outside. In 20th, we have Paul Wilson. In 21st, Jackson Duke. That's a new name I've not seen. In 22nd, we have Jason Greenwell. 23rd, Marshall Crocker Sr. And in 24th, rounding out, I'm not rounding out our field. In 24th, we have Victor Weaver. In 25th, Hunter Musselwhite. In 26th, Joshua McQuiggan. 27th, Christopher Bassinger. In 28th, Sean Britt. 29th, Christopher Fiera, back in the field once again, good to see him. And rounding out our field, had some issues in qualifying. In 30th is Bob Berry.
All right, 30 drivers here for Iowa. Can't wait to see how they kick it off here tonight. I think these guys are ready to go. Please, no cautions here. I would love to see some hard racing, guys side by side, guys pushing each other just a little bit harder in the turns. But who's going to start us off? Benjamin Lacey, here we go. Filming the Wild 160 kicks off here, diving into turn number 1, already separating 3 wide here in the back, just a hair, as Kevin Foster looks like he's the first one to pop out. Oh, do we have trouble in the back? Come on.
One car heavy into the outside wall with the front end. It kind of looked like Mark Allen Bivens, but I'm not quite sure.
Yep, that it is. Mark Allen Bivens is the first one around. Damage to the right front. Now I'm wondering if that's why he didn't want to talk to us here in the in the booth, because he might not have been feeling very confident on how this race was going to go for him. Let's see if we can find what happened to Mark Allen Bivens here, the number 76. Already taking the first header into the wall. Let's take a look. 76 here to the outside. He's following, looks like Kevin Foster, and steps it to the side. There you go. There's that rack and pinion steering for you there, Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, our points leader heavy into the wall on lap 1.
Boy, I hate to see that. Caution laps will be fairly short here tonight, as these guys will putt around, get relined back up. I would say drivers I've seen win this race have to be king at restarts. Hopefully that does not continue here on the night. So we already get our first caution here of the night. Who is going to go to, yep, Perfect Shine Auto Spa. That was our caution replay we just went through. Only drivers to move up a couple of positions. Let's say driver like Victor Weaver moved up 3. Fiera and Bob Barry also moved up as well. Bivens, McQuiggan, and Sean Britt are only 3 drivers to come down into pit road, as it looks like they're going to do a quick fuel and go. Might be trying to see if they can outlast a little bit. I think this is a good call here, Jackson.
Yeah, not one that I would think of, but Sean Britt, starting in the back, probably had the same issues as Bob Barry during qualifying. Sean Britt usually, at least mid-pack, so definitely going to see some different strategy calls out of him, probably majority of the day.
All right, our 2 Christophers will be starting in row number 13, Bassinger and Fiera sitting back here. Both these guys have moved up at least a couple of positions to get this night started. Tough run here, though. I hate seeing it so early. With a caution. Now, I think they're going to double stack here. Hopefully, pace car lights. Nope, looks like they're going to stick on here. Bummer. I think they're shuffling around, and I think some drivers might be out of line here, starting with around Austin McGill area. Notice we're not double stacking here, so something might be wrong. Whew. Yeah, see Handphone 1 out there saying Victor's already moving up. Yep, it won't take him much time as long as he can stay out of trouble. And you were talking earlier about our gentleman out there, I believe it was Jackson Duke. Was that it?
Yep.
Yeah, new driver here. He'll be actually there with Hunter Musselwhite down there in 7000 Motorsports. So, yep, a new race team putting themselves together here, looking to see if they can get a good showing out here tonight. It's going to be harder than expected, but this is going to be Woo-Saw. Woo-Saw, nice and easy. All right, he's waiting for the win out there. Appreciate you guys joining us here at SimTraX Broadcasting. Of course, to chat with us out there in the chat, you got to subscribe to the channel. We're doing pretty well out there, as well as the pace car. So are the drivers. I would say their confidence level is pretty low for some. I was Jackson, I think you raced out here. I thought it was an Xfinity car. You guys were out here, and lots softer suspension, and this the drivers, I gotta admit, much nicer in the Xfinities, but the tires are really different there. We're still running on the 10.5-inch wheels.
Yeah, for sure. Those Xfinity cars probably a lot safer, a lot more floaty around these bumps comparative to these next-gen cars. I wouldn't be surprised if these things are bottoming out, especially if you run the high side in 1 and 2. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happened and caught Michael Bivens.
All right. I would say reliability is going to be the biggest question on everybody's mind here tonight. The 31 machine of Connor Gibson, not looking as the Sour Patch Kid. He's running in the snap-off 31 Chevrolet. Let's see him go. Ooh, boy, they're going to watch that move there. I don't know if there was trouble there from Marshall Crocker with a lane switch at the line. Hopefully he made it after the line before he started moving down a lane. Looks like he does switch up, though, passing Brett Guzik. He'll be to his inside. Marshall Crocker Jr. looking for the number 3 spot, but Brett Guzik in the 04 holding on tight. Looks like we got 1 green flag lap under our belt.
That's exactly what we needed. Lap 7, we're finally 1 green flag lap underneath our belt. Definitely a lot of laps are going to be filed under caution because of how short the track is. Definitely going to be something different to get used to. As we see now, Brendan Jackson down to the inside of John Osborne. Brendan Jackson, I believe, has made a start just yet this season, so good to see him out here in the 99 Ford Mustang.
Yep. Sit along here with John Osborne in the 81 Chevrolet, looking down at the 99, taking the more favorable line, and he does make the complete pass. That gives Brandon Jackson into 6th, and John Osborne's going to shuffle on back as he takes his position. Let's check back here in the back of the field here with Matt Crockett. Looks like the Liquid Death Machine is able to keep Pedro Leon behind him. Now, Pedro had a little bit of trouble last race all over the track, and I believe smacked into Benjamin Lacey. It scared us even on camera that a lot of things were happening. But, you know, Jackson, we talk about all this through the race. Look who's in the lead. The 51 Chevrolet, that Camaro of Curtis Yancey, on fire here. This guy's taking off, and now he's starting to put the distance on the rest of the field.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to, just as the driver said, tires seem like they're going to wear. Patience. It's something that Curtis Yancey usually isn't a big fan of. Always really fast, but when those tires wear down, tends to lose speed a little bit more than everyone else. So, if you can stay up there, build a big enough gap, should be pretty all right towards the end of the run.
All right, double checking out there on our stream. Double check Robin Allen out there on your resolution and make sure your screen's not too big. You may have to turn it sideways out there. I'm showing currently out there on YouTube. I do have the placement there on the left side, and we are cycling 6 hour outside our top 10. So just make sure nothing on your end. I'm looking all good over here as we were currently watching Curtis Yancey pull away by over 3/4 of a second, rotating back to Connor Gibson, who's sitting in 5th, chasing Brett Guzik. Marshall Crocker still holds on to 3rd as Connor Gibson holds on to 5th. The only other driver to not move any positions, Kevin Foster, but that may be undone now as Ricky Hart here to the inside. Hart had a pole position and then ended up flubbing it there, and he's trying to come back and get that Advanced Auto Parts machine into winner's circle. Right now, the 28 Ford has been in the hunt for quite some time, not as long as John Osborne, but I would say if Iowa has something to do is bring the upset. A lot of drivers who end up winning this one are either in a commanding lead or a surprise finisher out there tonight. And hopefully your favorite driver does not end up bent and down pit road, which currently I've still got all 29 drivers out there on the track. Jackson Duke is the only one who's currently a lap down.
Yeah, I believe it was an 08 car. Yep, sporting the Cobbler's paint scheme. Seems to have a little bit of damage in the rear end. Not quite sure what happened to him.
Yeah, taking a quick
But
peek.
possibly
here.
car not handling right.
There it is. Yep, left rear. Yep, left rear's got a little bit of damage there, so Jackson, you are correct. A lot of guys getting mushed up out there. Oddly enough, to see him mushed up so soon. I think the only person who's in danger as well is going to be Sean Britt. He'll be the next one to possibly end up a lap down as we look off the back side here of Sean Britt. That is currently Yancey starting to reel him in.
There's something I want to talk about with Curtis Yancey, especially entering turns number 1 and 2. Curtis Yancey runs a much wider arc than all the cars behind him. That could possibly be why he's got so much speed, that different line, but at the same time, you got to think that's going to be wearing a lot more tire, especially on that right front with a wider arc.
All right, we're going to test your memory here, Jackson. If I'm not mistaken, Curtis Yancey was our driver at New Hampshire who had figured out how to drop down below the line and take the inside turn and almost get these guys by a 1/4 of a lap. He was almost pulled away by 5 to 6 seconds by taking a line that no one had ever seen, and it did work. Benjamin Lacey, if I'm not mistaken, followed along, and so did Nick Nickerson and Cody Welch. Those 3 drivers were following Curtis Yancey. They said it absolutely tore the tires up, but it worked. It created the separation that as soon as the tires fell off, they were able to maintain. I'm fairly certain I'm right. I'm very sure it was
I think you're right.
Good Lord. Look at that.
Because I remember that race pretty well, because I ended up doing the same thing. I'm a copycat. But Lacey now all the way caught up to the bumper of Curtis Yancey. Maybe those tires wore down just enough. I'm not sure how fast. Oh, Sean, pretty slow on the apron there.
Yeah, Sean Britt looks like it said he came off track here. I do want to take a peek and see if maybe we broke loose in the Weathermaster machine. Let's take a look. Here's over top. And whoop, yep, there's the exit of 4. That's not going to bring out a caution. As he's off the racing surface.
Good save by Sean Britt, keeping it clean. It's respect.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of people are out there rooting on Victor Weaver. I do have, unfortunately, some bad news. Victor Weaver came down pit road on lap 16 for him. And then as that just now working his way out. I don't know if Victor Weaver's got a ton of damage out there, but he is currently, I believe, 2 laps down in the 18 NOS machine. So he is going to be kind of on the back foot here, getting this going. Right now, I know even a couple of them out there are curious. Let's check back in on our leaders, as it looks like Mama Goose is almost trying to beat us to it, as Benjamin Lacey taking the outside line, though. Don't never count out Benjamin Lacey. He'll sit back, let you run your race, let you fry the tires off, and come back and attack. So if they ain't filming the wilds happening, it's going to be this guy right here in the front. Benjamin Lacey taking off, now a 1/4 of a second off the 51's nose.
Yeah, Benjamin Lacey got all the way up to him, couldn't figure out how to get to his inside, moved high, used that middle lane and run off, took it down the back straightaway. Great move by Benjamin Lacey now catching up to the 77 of Marshall Crocker Sr., the next to go one lap down. Got a little bit of damage on the front of Senior's car.
Yeah, he looked like he might have rear-ended somebody or clipped the wall. Do see a fold in there right around the radiator grill. He's not going to be real happy. Hopefully that car does not overheat down a lap he's going to go here. It almost seems inevitable. I would like to point out, though, that Benjamin Lacey and Curtis Yancey are away from the rest of the field by 2 seconds. It's going to be a long way before they can catch anybody. 3 seconds if you like to count Brandon Jackson and company. They're at least pretty close here in the back. Right now, I do want to check back in on Connor Gibson. Looks like a quick pass here. And Marshall Crocker going back and getting 5th, and we got a caution out there. I believe Bassinger might be our guy.
Yeah, Bassinger, I believe he won last week's race, didn't he?
Fairly certain.
Yeah, so Bassinger coming from the top of the food chain from last race to this race, didn't qualify real well. Obviously, just had some issues there. Not sure if he was the cause of them, but we will see on the replay.
Yep, well, go ahead and take a look at it here as we are getting it loaded up. Brought to you by Perfect Shine Auto Spot. Watch the 9 get loose, and yep, went up into Pedro Leon there. Gotta say, the 9 of Willie Evernham, I thought he may have been okay after he had saved it. No overcorrection by Willie, but I think Bassinger might have had to check up just a little bit. That way he could slide in there. I believe CBD has Chris Bassinger designs. Absolutely nothing to do with what you think it is.
Yeah, Christopher Bassinger saw that gap in the middle. Both cars did not think he was going to do it, and he went for it. Put everyone in a not great situation. Obviously worked out worse for him than anyone else. We also saw Bill Harkins got hit pretty heavily. Not sure what the damage looks like on Bill Harkins, but that right front on Christopher Bassinger's car seems to be a little bit overly cambered. Might have some issues with that toe link.
Yep. All right, so taking a look here
Bill
at
Harkins.
Bill Harkins.
I would guess he just uses fast repair because that car looks way too clean for that condition it was just in a couple seconds ago.
Right, I was going to say, I was like, bro, what'd you see? Hold on. The 11 got clipped. Let me see. Okay, Bill Harkins is here in the back watching all this happen. Going, and mush. Yep, you're right. 110% right. But that's him after
doesn't
the
look
wreck.
too damaged. Oh, man. Maybe he didn't use a fast repair. Just real good luck for Bill Harkins. That's what I like to see.
Yep. Hate to see it. Hate to see that something happened to him out there because I was hoping I didn't bring him the commentator's curse or anything. I would say, in a situation like this here, Jackson, most of our drivers did not pit, but the guys in the back did pit. Some took 4 tires and fuel, a lot of them fixing some damage. If you are laps down, let's say you're Victor Weaver, Sean Britt, I think Mark Allen Bivens got in a little bit of trouble out there. Would you come down in the pit, or would you try to get the wave around and get an extra lap back here?
Well, the thought process is if you're not, the top of the lap down cars, obviously you're not going to get that lucky dog, not going to get that wave around. So you really got to, take your chances. I would head down pit road if I was not the lucky dog so that I can fight the other people who are laps down a lot better and hold my ground easier. And possibly when the next caution comes out, be the leader of the lap down cars and head right up past the leaders and take my lucky dog.
Awesome. All right. Victor Weaver did have some trouble earlier here into the race. Right now, I believe he is still remaining 2 laps down out there from this last caution caused out there by Chris Bassinger. We'll see if he ends up taking an EOL here and heading to the back of the field. Right now, I'm currently showing he's in the, I think he's only 1 position. He may have to go ahead and let Mark Allen Bivens go on around him here, but RC's got a hold on that. Quick update out there. Bill Harkins going ahead and doing it for you guys. He said the steering broke, so he did have to use the fast repair. Boy, look at that. Yellow flag is out. And it's getting ready to go away. Finally, thank you again. Perfect Shine Auto Spa. I have a feeling This will not be the last time we see you. Let's go ahead and get that tower back up here and get lap number 30 underway. Taking us back to our start is going to be Curtis Yancey, and it looks like, yes, he is going to get across the line first, going ahead with Connor Gibson second, and Brett Guzik holds on to third as we dive into turn number 1. Side by side, the 31 holds to the outside as the easy go of Brett Guzik goes ahead and makes a bid to hold on to the second position. Connor Gibson not quick to give up here as the 99 machine of Brandon Jackson driving like dirt. He says he goes
throwing
down
a slider into 3 and 4.
Oh, yeah, puts a slider in. Unfortunately, he is not the reason for this next caution. Driver who got hammered down last time, remember by Chris Bassinger, will be Willie Evernham, is bringing out our third caution here of the night. Right now, a lot of guys are getting these waiver rounds that they desperately need. Jackson Duke is going to need a few, Victor Weaver, and Sean Britt. I believe, if I am not mistaken, the number 5 Chevrolet of Sean Britt is our first driver to retire here for the night.
Big contact under caution there. The 9 car into the 16. Heavy contact to the rear bumper of the 16. Big damage there.
What? We're under caution.
The 9 car seemed to have lost control as he caught back up to the pack, hit the outside wall, and hit right into the back of the 16.
Well, you can already see the 08 whipping here as we are under caution. Oh, the 08.
The 16 seemed to have already been around on the inside wall by the time we got to him. There seemed to be another incident with the 16 beforehand.
Jackson, what is going on in this caution, dude? All right, let's take a look here at the 16. 16 plants it here, starts sliding. Okay, he saves it, though. The Matco Tools machine got a little, kind of smacked himself around a little bit. I would say this is a case of fresh tires out there. And they are not letting them warm up quite yet. So the 08 is starting to do the same thing the 16 did there, Jackson. Look at Pedro Leon. He's trying to find a safe spot. Almost does.
Yeah, with this car, really easy to overcorrect, even with the smallest of slides. You really just gotta kind of let go of everything and hope the car comes back to you. Anytime I would get sideways in the next gen, I would let go of my wheel, take my feet off the pedals, and hope that it comes back to me. And that usually worked out for me. Counter steering in this car usually doesn't go right for you. Always much safer to just let it do its thing until it calms down, and then you can get right back to it.
Really? So you use the tracking of the car to keep, to keep in contact and regain control instead of steering it back. I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Good to know. All right, 77 machine here. Crocker Senior's down, and hopefully the damage is not too excessive. Oh, looks like
Doesn't seem to be too bad unless it's the same type of secretive damage that we can't really see up here in the booth. Something with the steering, just like what did happen with Bill Harkins.
All right, biggest mover here of the race is going to go to the 83 Ford of Jason Greenwell, who's currently holding on to 11th. He's currently gained almost half the field, gaining 11 on the night. So not bad for a top 22 start. Top 22. Yeah, okay. All right,
Jason Greenwell with that patience, like he was saying earlier.
Somebody else who's starting to slowly creep up as well, Joshua Quigley, starting to work his way up there in the number 19. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I was reading a part-time driver here in the 19 Napa car. Has been making some waves here in the Bandit Racing League. Right now, Bill is hanging back a little bit in the Bandit Racing League, letting Benjamin Lacey and Kevin Foster hash it out with these guys and work with them. Currently, they'll be starting, I believe, nose to tail out here. Benjamin Lacey will be starting 13th. Kevin Foster, I believe, in the 15th position. That may switch up here as we get ready to go. Green flag is out. Perfect Shine Auto Spot bringing you our caution replay here. Let's go ahead and get this back going. Our leader, we already know, is skating away here. Austin McGill is the one I'm starting to hone in on as the number 10 is falling back, almost like his brake got stuck.
Austin McGill started right up front, just about, now moving back all the way down to 10th. Got Matt Crockett getting around him on the outside. Can't quite move anywhere. All the lanes are stuck in front of him. But John Osborne just staying right up there.
Great job by the Liquid Death Machine there of Matt Crockett. I believe once again the number 16 car is around. Coming back on the track, down at the bottom, Steve. Woo! Yeah, definitely.
That was scary.
Yeah, hug onto the yellow line here, get off the racing surface. As Hunter Musselwhite is starting to find out this car is not hooking for him right now. Big time trouble there for Hunter Musselwhite. As he unfortunately goes down a lap here, going on around. Senior back out onto the track. And then, right now there's action everywhere. It's hard to find a good place to sit and hang out. Why don't we hang out here with Kevin Foster, as it looks like nothing but trouble in front of him here. Look out for that left front fender. 3 wide here, coming out of 4.
Yeah, they've been 3 wide, 2 wide, all over the place. Benjamin Lacey making it 3 wide. A bit down on the inside. Contact. Jason Greenwell into the back bumper of Kevin Foster. Kevin Foster's going to save it. They're not going to be 3, almost 4 wide. More contact out of turn number 2.
Greenwell going ahead and sending it into the rear bumper once again there of Kevin Foster. Foster just can't seem to get into a safe spot, but look who's diving here on the inside. Looks like the number 19 of McQuiggan is going ahead and sending it in there on David Lakey. Right now we got guys shuffling all over the track. Tons of problems here in the back there with Jason Greenwell yet again. Finally gets separation from Kevin Foster, but unfortunately it's on the way backwards that he is working. Tons of room out here, but they are showing there isn't, as we got drivers sliding to the sideways. Right now, Matt Crockett is breaking loose out of 4.
Yeah, Matt Crockett real slow down the front straightaway. Here comes Marshall Crocker Jr. to the outside. They're now 3 wide. Bob Berry getting a little loose on the high side. Christopher Bassinger in the 1 car looking for somewhere to go. No room for him. Bill Harkins right behind this whole mess. Everyone get around Matt Crockett on the outside the same way Matt Crockett made his way up there.
Yeah,
David Lakey now getting on the bumper.
Go ahead, do it, brother. You got it.
Bill Harkins also looking for somewhere to go. But Matt Crockett used up his tires, it seemed. I'm pretty sure Matt Crockett was one of the guys who did not pit for tires that last caution period. So everyone seems to be getting around him on that high side. Bill Harkins almost to the bumper. Down the front straightaway, gets a little tight out of turn 4.
All right, we do sit on top of Bill Harkins' machine as we are watching these guys try to shuffle all over the track. More trouble here toward the front. Let's check in on McQuiggan here as the 2 cars, blue and yellow and blue and white down on the bottom. Looks like the Napa machine is going to dive here underneath of John Osborne. Osborne on the roll backwards, unfortunately. This is now 5 lost on the night for John Osborne. Our race still being led out there by Curtis Yancey for the moment. Eddie Hagge reeling him in. Brandon Jackson sitting 3rd. Benjamin Lacey and Brett Guzik now going at it here for the 4th position. They make the switch, and already Benjamin Lacey not taking just 1, going for the 2nd spot. Yes, he is. And as he gets the 2nd spot gained here, he's looking for the number 2 spot of Eddie Hagge, but he puts Jackson and Brett Guzik behind him, and his Ford is now leading the charge.
Benjamin Lacey while battling with all these cars, now getting down to the inside of Eddie Hagge. Looking there, Benjamin Lacey in this battle has been catching Curtis Yancey this entire time. Benjamin Lacey, a little bit better tires than Yancey, possibly, but looking, still trying to get down to the inside of Eddie Hagge. He's going to be there this time. They're going to be side by side into turn 1. Will he clear out of turn 2? Almost not going to be this time by.
Ford Mustang of Benjamin Lacey out there in the Film in the Wild Real Earth Films car is making it here, almost back to his original starting pole position, but he only has 1 more position to go. Finally puts Eddie Hagge into the rearview mirror, and it'll be a little bit of time, half a second at that, to find Curtis Yancey. We'll go back here and peek in on Brett Guzik, who's currently in front of a gaggle of cars that are still looking to see if they can find some room. Who's caught in the middle? Yep, the number 8 car of Kevin Foster. Once again, just can't find an emergency exit in case something goes down back here. Currently, he's finally hovers down to the bottom lane. He's got a couple of teammates around him, of Ricky Hart and Paul Wilson. They are separating, though, as a couple of guys mushing around. Austin McGill, to name one of them, currently in the number 10, and we are nothing but Mustangs. The Fords run 6th through 15th out here, so obviously center of the field looking pretty good, but Benjamin Lacey looking to make a bid for the lead.
Benjamin Lacey now down to the outside, down the front straightaway. Big run for Benjamin Lacey. He's going to clear heading into turns number 1 and 2. New leader, Benjamin Lacey, on lap 48 out of 160. Caution flag comes out that time by, I'm going to guess it's that gaggle we were watching just a little bit ago.
Yes, it was. Austin McGill caught up in this one. Currently, Benjamin Lacey got that pass just in time, as the short run speed would go to Curtis Yancey. But remember, Benjamin Lacey came down on lap number 26 for 4 tires and fuel. So he will have the upper hand, but for now. If Curtis Yancey decides to come down and pit here on lap number 50, I'd probably say he shouldn't, as stage break is going to be at 56. Jackson, I am fairly certain we are not close enough to our stage to go ahead and call it the stage. So maybe these guys are going to everyone's going to stick out here, wait for the stage, and get back down. Whew.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to see all the guys on the back pit, but probably just a couple in the front that really think that they can get it are going to stay out. But it's really probably going to mess up some big strategy things for the front leaders to stay out. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the leaders pit even. I think everyone might come down this time. Everyone's on fairly worn tires. I think real close. I'm not sure if there was even contact there.
Wow.
Ricky Hart Jr. getting involved. Bill Harkins once again. Bob Berry into the outside wall. That's 5 cars. Pedro Leon barely missing it. Great instinct by Pedro.
But Kevin Foster, I mean, the number 10 breaks a little bit loose. He goes to make the change. Almost clips the number 1 car of Bassinger here. Goes back down. Doesn't look like he makes contact, but maybe a little net code. And Kevin Foster, not only 1 but 2, almost gets and meets his doom, but is fortunately able to get through. And look who squeaks by as well. I believe that was Lakey. Wow.
Yeah, Kevin Foster saw danger low, got high, saw danger high as well, went back low. Doing really anything he could. Obviously, you can't brake or let off out of that corner, or else you'll go right up in the outside wall and get real tight. So pretty much just doing everything he could.
Yeah. And Ari Hambone out there saying Bill can't buy a brake. No, we cannot. Boy, who was that shuffling through? Somebody's going to be in some trouble. It looked like too many pit boxes to me. Uh-oh. That's all right. We'll leave that to RC. What do you say?
Yeah.
Not getting involved.
I will not comment on that.
Not getting involved. Car's still single file here with the pace car lights still on. We should be double stacked next time by. Ton of cautions here so far, I would say, early into this run. And we'll see if this does bring around our stage break. I would hope not. This should give us about a 3-lap shootout. And then guys are going to come down and pit. I think guys who are hanging on to that are going to be Eddie Hagge and Ethan Sikorsky. They did not pit. Connor Gibson as well. So 3 out of our top 5 drivers have not pit here. We could probably count McQuiggan in, but he pit on lap number 2 for fuel only. So
I'm going to guess McQuiggan is not going for a stage win. McQuiggan is part-time, just looking for wins. Very young guy, wants to make his name known, I would guess. So if I were him, I would definitely pit.
Huh. Of course.
But I guess he didn't.
Of course he can make his name known. McQuiggan. What kind of wild name is that? Everybody's going to remember that. All right.
Pretty hard to forget.
Yeah, Ethan Sikorsky out there in the, what I thought was the Crunchyroll car.
Not this time. Now it's, but I see Crunchyroll. We can still call it the Crunchyroll
Okay.
car.
I didn't know if you knew what that's. It's something The Rock. Not just The Rock. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think it's a TV show. Probably on Crunchyroll.
Probably
So
on Crunchyroll. It's like doing Cartoon Network and then putting Dexter's Lab on there. Like Johnny Bravo. All right. Pace car lights are off. And we're going to get back underway. 4th caution of the night. Hopefully the next one we see will be stage break. Benjamin Lacey getting off to an awesome start here, and I guarantee he's looking for those stage points. Maybe unlike some of the guys behind him. Curtis Yancey does restart back in the 9th or 10th position here. We'll see if he turns his way back to the front. Not bad to being able to pit and still have a chance at some stage points. Number 19 car, Josh McQuiggan, is taking the very low line here. I think this is pretty dangerous. as he does rotate up finally. He was staying low on the front stretch and the back stretch and was not rotating up. I was afraid with some issues out there, he may start sliding around. But Jackson, right now, we talk about a Jackson out there, Brandon Jackson, once again sliding up the track. Right now, he's in the middle of the 3 wide, Yancey to the outside.
They made a little bit of contact with Connor Gibson that past lap round, but that middle lane, when you're stuck in between two cars, really not where you want to be. He's made a lot of contact just now, once again, with Marshall Crocker Jr., now into Christopher Bassinger. Can't quite figure it out. Definitely moving back in position is Brandon Jackson.
Bassinger looking like he is Cole Trickle out there, always to the outside line, which has unfortunately gotten him in trouble more than once here tonight. Finally breaks down toward the bottom to see if he can get a couple of drivers behind him here instead of in front. Right now, whoop, little blink out here from Yancey. Where's Yancey going? Uh-oh, I don't know if there's something happened to Curtis Yancey. No, he go ahead and got in at third. I don't know if he passed below the yellow line. Something went crazy there as they are going ahead and finishing
checkered to the
up.
stage.
Yeah, we should be coming up on the finish here, and around he goes. Top 10 made it by, finishing and completing lap number 56. As it looked like Curtis Yancey, I do want to take a peek here and see how he shot by a few drivers in a matter of less than 3 seconds. Boy, that would be something if he gets himself in trouble here. There's Curtis Yancey. Oh, okay. There he is. Comes back. Kind of blinked out. He made 2 passes from 19 and 94. And I guess gets
well, you know what?
Aggie.
When you're not there, it makes passing really easy. I tell you what.
It makes everybody else also let off the gas because I don't know where you are.
Yep.
All right, so interesting strategy here. We'll see if Benjamin Lacey, yes, Lacey will come down, and Yancey stays out.
Big strategy call by Yancey, Brett Guzik, and who is that right behind them?
Paul Wilson.
Paul Wilson.
Yeah, I know. You're used to seeing him in a black and red car, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah.
Thought that was Terry Condas for a second.
It's like VIP glass. All right. Cool. Like seeing nice new sponsors out here on these cars. Well, I also like seeing nice new subscribers out there as well. That's a Steel saying she spoke too soon. Yep, right now we are seeing how this is going to play out. David Lakey is currently holding in 8th. So Miss Steele, you see currently this Chevrolet going ahead and tucking in behind a lapped car of Victor Weaver. This may go ahead and get him, I think, because everybody didn't get in front of him. This might push him to the end of the line. See here. We'll see what RC decides to do. I'm fairly certain. I thought should get him around. He should be in the lead, right? He's up to lap 57. I believe everybody's on 59.
They're on 60 now.
Yeah, I'm trying to see who should be the lucky dog around. Showing Austin McGill. Yeah, I think Austin McGill got our lucky dog around. That's the worst part about short track racing is when you get guys out there, when you end up getting in the middle of a caution or anything like that, you know, just if you end up a lap down, it's almost impossible to try to get them back.
Yeah, with how many lap cars there usually ends up being, like you said, just impossible. Pretty much nothing you can do to get back up there, especially if you're more than 1 lap down. My dad actually invented a system that I like. He said if you are the leader of the 1 lap down cars, absolutely yes, you should get the lucky dog, go back on the lead lap. But if you're the leader, if there's multiple cars that are 2 laps down, if you're the leader of the cars that are 2 laps down, you go to 1 lap down. If you're the leader of the cars that are 3 laps down, you go to 2 laps down. I really like that. Makes the, a lot easier to get back on the lead lap, and makes it feel like you're not so out of it once you go a couple laps down,
Cool. So if you're 56 laps down in Martinsville, every time there's a caution, you get a lap back.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Always got a chance. I could still win it. Don't worry.
Hey, man, I work with a lot of people trying to figure out how to break the system, so I'll go ahead and poke it a little bit. All right, 4 cautions out for the night. 5th one was the stage. Let's go ahead and get the Film in the Wild 160 back underway. Curtis Yancey taking us to green.
Yeah, Curtis Yancey, I believe, has led the most laps all day today. Before, he had Kevin Foster as well as Benjamin Lacey were trying to get right up to him. They got up to him a couple times, but now he's just got Brett Guzik, who's been staying behind him all race, so no real worries in his back window just yet. But as he continues to pull away with his wide arc strategy.
Yep. We sit on top of Christopher Ferreira, looking forward at our top 5 to 8 drivers. Currently, top 5 to 8, out of top 6, as we're currently sitting in the 7th place car. Right now, everybody taking it a lot easier here, seeing that we are not racing for a stage. Got to race all the way to the end. Less than 100 laps left to go here. Currently, Christopher Ferreira has gained 22 positions here on the night, as he was one of our lap 49 hitters out there. So we'll keep an eye on the number 13. Used to seeing him also out there in a bright green car. Not this time. Looks like he's got almost in Mobile 1 colors, I believe. Yes, he is in the 13. So look who's starting to move around a lot right behind him, Benjamin Lacey. Once again, coming down for fuel and tires on lap number 58. So lap 29, lap 58, he's going to have to start metering out these tires. He's only got 2 sets left.
Yeah, definitely using them so early. Going to be difficult towards the end. I think he's hoping for possibly a long run right here, especially after the stage. Not everyone's going to be battling too hard, like you said. So, if that really works out for him, I'll see him towards the front, towards the end of the run. Hopefully no cautions anytime soon for Benjamin Lacey. But up to 7th, gaining on the leader of Curtis Yancey.
Yeah, not bad there by Benjamin Lacey. I rotate back here now to Eddie Haggy. We just watched Christopher Ferreira have a pretty dismal turn. That allowed Lakey and Haggy to get on around. Lakey's gained 11 here on the night, and a little kind of crunch up here of a couple Chevrolets. Lakey, Haggy, and Ferreira. Right now, Ethan Sikorsky, I think, is trying to make a dive here to the outside. Currently, he is in good company as he's got Marshall Crocker Jr. sitting behind him. The Sour Patch Kid there of Connor Gibson trying to make something work for him here tonight. I do feel that everything has changed a little bit since we got back under green. Everybody seems to be taking it a lot easier. I noticed the turns are nice and smooth. We don't see a lot of guys breaking sideways, and everybody just kind of slowly start ticking these laps off as they want to get closer to the end before they start making any daring choices or a move that may be just a little too sketchy. Right now, as I say that, Benjamin Lacey, oh yeah, showing you what it's like to break out of turn number 4.
Yeah, Benjamin Lacey definitely pushing it a lot harder than anyone really is around him, as well as Peter Murphy, I believe, is the highest he's been all day. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Peter Murphy, Toyota, I think the only Toyota in the field currently, running pretty high. Not sure where he started.
Peter Murphy actually started in the 9th position. Currently, he's now up to 4th. So yes, this is his highest position that he's been trying for out there. Fortunately, he's got a little bit of room. 6/10 in front, 3/10 behind, and he is right now feeling pretty comfortable as they split the Fords in half. Brett Guzik and Ricky Hart in front, Paul Wilson and Matt Crockett behind. As we have revisited our next caution, I believe Victor Weaver is our guy who is the cause of this one. He is already down pit road, so that is definitely not a good sign. And hopefully he didn't. It probably means he had to tow.
It's going to lead to an unhappy chat right about now, I'd guess.
Yep, checking on the number 18. He is caught up, a little right front damage here. As as we get our drone footage floating around to see if he's got anything specifically obvious. As we go ahead and get back under our Perfect Shine Auto Spa caution replay, let's go ahead and take a look at what happens to the number 18 here.
A little loose on entry.
Still. Oh, hit the yellow line. Not good. Ouch.
I believe that's Jackson getting involved again. Not by his doing, though.
Boy, you want to talk about now being able to catch a break, is that 08 too. Yeah, Jackson Duke. What a rough night for him. So a couple of guys are going to take a little bit of an opportunity to make some adjustments here. Ricky Hart, Austin McGill, Bill Harkins, Mr. Duke, seniors coming on down, and Bob Berry. So it looks like, I believe, the last half of the 20 cars are coming in as the top 20 decide to stay out. Drivers who have been on lap 49 tires. Been out there for almost 20 laps already. But it doesn't seem to be affecting Curtis Yancey at all here, Jackson. A lot of guys have been shuffling around. Matt Bailey out there. Indeed, he said that just happened. Oh, man.
Robin says, well, crap.
Yeah. Something tells me that Victor Weaver, just the way he drives, something tells me that's a super speedway driver. he knows what to follow. He knows what lane to get in, but something just tells me we're having a little trouble pivoting here tonight, trying to get around some of these turns.
His favorite type of track, especially for his first start. Not the type of track you're going to be wanting to do your first start on.
No, absolutely not. It's going to be pretty rough. I don't know how he's going to fare here for the rest of the season. Most guys get off to a bumpy start, but taking a look at some of the races that we've got coming up here. Las Vegas is next week. Michigan is after that. I'm looking to see, yes, we'll have Talladega. We are all the way into August when that happens. Obviously, no super speedway racing here. Long Beach is. Something tells me that's gonna be a rough race.
Oh, that's gonna be real fun. I'm excited to watch Long Beach. I tell you what, no, I'm not excited to drive that. Good thing I'm not driving it. It's gonna be real fun to watch.
Yeah. Boy, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be a tough race. I'm hoping Long Beach isn't what I think it is. It's like some hairpin turn to the right, and you run across the start-finish line.
That'd be the one.
Oh my gosh. I was going to say, there's a track I can't forget. It's why is it a hairpin to the right? It is so
tight,
hard.
Fast left-hander into an immediate sharp, very sharp right-hander hairpin that you just cannot brake for, especially in this car. So definitely going to take some getting used to for the drivers out there. I'm not sure if these cars even have the turning radius to get around that. But that's going to be real fun to watch, for sure.
Yeah, especially after the carousel. Oof, that's going to be rough. All right, let's go ahead and get back here to Iowa at the rough track that it is to get lap number 75 here of the 160. Right now, Curtis Yancey having an easy time here. Goes in, swings to the outside, gets a good dive down to the bottom, and now he is going to continue to lead this race. But somebody who's looking to definitely make a move quickly is going to be Eddie Hagee. Outside line, goes in with Paul Wilson in the left mirror, and now he is already on to Matt Crockett. Crockett in the door. Right now, Crockett trying to squeeze up close and tight to get the best angle here for turn number 1. But Eddie Hagee not waiting any time, going ahead and attacking Peter Murphy from the outside. Ouch! Look out, Matt Crockett!
Hard hit from Matt Crockett on the inside wall. Made it 3 wide off the corner. Well, Matt Crockett didn't make it 3 wide. He had no choice. He was just an innocent bystander. He got taken out. Peter Murphy had a little bit of issue off the corner, got a little sideways, especially with having that car on his outside, taking all that air off his spoiler. Hit Matt Crockett. Matt Crockett didn't see it coming. He also definitely saw that inside wall coming, though. Hard hit for Matt Crockett.
Take a look out there in the chat. Bill Harkins is trying to fix 4 minutes of repairs. This will assist him, as he is currently back out there on the track. Right now, he's going to be coming back down to get that thing squared away. Matt Crockett just no choice here, and I don't think this is any issue of his own as we get to take another look at it here. Oh, actually, that Crockett might have rotated up there a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll take another look at it here.
Oh, you might be right.
Yep. I was going to say, the 3 wide was not his fault, but I think coming up the track, he, yeah,
That first angle I saw, it looked like Peter Murphy was a little bit higher and came down, but I apologize. It kind of was probably a little bit wrong there. But Matt Crockett seemed to still have his fast repair. Matt Crockett has been pretty much out of all the incidents all day today. I think that's his first real incident. So still has his fast repair. I believe he used it that time by. If we see Matt Crockett involved in another incident, I'm guessing he'll probably be out of this one.
Yep. Well, he'll be down
This
here.
is really the time of day, the time of night, period in these races to where all the people who are usually in wrecks have been in their first wreck and are probably done with their fast repairs. This is a time of night where the next couple wrecks, we're going to see a couple cars getting out a lot more. Perfect Shine Auto Spa really getting their money's worth for this race for sure.
That they are. Bob Berry, Bill Harkins, and Jackson Duke returning back down the pit road yet again. I would say if they have damage out there and no fast repairs, now's a good time to go ahead and fix it up. I would say even if I got early damage at a race like this, I would not want to be using my fast repair so early. Definitely, he's going to have to stop here. I know he came out after the pace car. I'd be really surprised if it lets him go. And waiting.
He's not exactly going fast, but he's not exactly...
No.
And there it is. He's pulling over.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to tell him to shuffle the back of the field here for exiting pit road after the pace car, so back to the back he goes. David Lakey now up to 6th. Brett Guzik still getting back to his qualifying position of 2nd. A lot of drivers moving around out here. As all our fans out there for Victor Weaver. Mr. Weaver has retired for the night. He is taking it back to the garage.
Hard night for Weaver. Sucks to see it happen to a first-time face, but, always next week. Need to look at where we're going next week. Do you know where we're going next week?
Yes, Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. And these cars, it's almost like a super speedway, so hopefully we'll get to see Weaver back again at a track that's just not like Iowa at all.
No. Yeah.
Brandon Jackson, what position is Brandon Jackson currently in?
Brandon Jackson currently sitting in 12th.
12th. All right. Brandon Jackson currently messaging me on Instagram, so seems to have his cell phone in the car. That's not good. Hopefully Brandon Jackson puts that cell phone away and gets a little bit higher in the standings.
Attaboy. What a nice way of saying that. All right, let's get this back under green. Yancey, Guzik, Hagee, Peter Murphy, and David Lakey going ahead and starting our top 5 here. Quick move down on the bottom line. Wow. Talk about Ethan Sikorsky not wasting any time. To the floor and dive bombs it there. Contact with the wall here in the back. I can't tell if that's the 99 machine. 13 of Ferreira's getting up in the wall. 4 wide, baby, out of 3 and 4. Wow.
Barely holding on to it out of turn 4. Christopher Fiera having issues went into the outside wall. Thinking he might have some sort of issue with that right front as he's now going slow into that corner just as well.
Wow.
In the wall once again, out of the corner.
Yeah, this is one of our drivers that came down on lap number 49. Looks like he's going to have the body man out there touching up on that right front wheel. If he keeps contacting that wall, he's going to be in a ton of trouble. Currently, Fiera finally getting on to 19th position. But let's move back up here where McQuiggan sits. He is currently getting ready in another 3 wide. Bassinger again. One cannot seem to get away from the trouble. And he is electing once again to the outside line. Boy, I just don't know. You think he'd be a little gun shy, but I give it to him. Keep diving in there and going for it. He might come out on top here eventually, but as we kind of watch a battle here in the back, Lacey slowly crawling up. The number 7 car sitting 7th. He's going to be looking to see if he can run Yancey down, but he's got a long way to go.
Yeah, a lot of battles going on. Still side by side. 3 rows back as we watch right now. Joshua McQuiggan a little bit sideways out of the corner. Jason Greenwell still trying to make it happen.
Oof.
Oh, issues for the 16 on the apron. Barely got out of the way. Heading to turns number 1 and 2. Issues all day for that number 16 car.
Wow.
That was close.
Yeah, got to check way up on that. See if he can get back in the groove here. I'm wondering if he's trying to get out of the way. I'm wondering if they're looking to lap him, and he says, you know what, just go ahead on around. He's got to get below that yellow line. You know, everyone respects you down below the yellow line. Don't stop on the track. Oh, my gosh. Whew. All right, let's go ahead and check in on Mark Allen Bivens. Remember, he started earlier this race with our first caution here of the night and has slowly been trying to recover since that spin out. Currently, Bivens finally breaking back into the top 10 as he battles to the outside of Connor Gibson. Both their Camaros going at it here as they look for the next Mustang there of Marshall Crocker Jr. Jr.'s been pretty quiet here, but he's looking to see if he can come up with a little extra speed here out of the 78 Ford. As he rotates out of 4, Bivens going to knock him around a little bit.
Bivens looked to make it 3 wide, didn't quite have the run. He's going to look into turns number 1 and 2. 3 wide goes Mark Allen Bivens. He clears the high side. He goes a little bit high. Connor Gibson using that to wash up in front of him. Connor Gibson leading this small pack of cars. A little bit of contact with Joshua McQuiggan and the 78 car. Marshall Crocker Jr. just getting fed backwards. But Connor Gibson, the Sour Patch Kid, as you've been calling him.
Yeah.
Did you come up with that nickname, or did he tell you to call you that?
I did. He was. That's what he always seemed to run. It was that lime green, yellow, and pink car. Could
like
not
that.
miss
It's a
him
good
out there.
nickname.
Yeah,
It's a really good nickname.
I think it works out for him. I think it works out for him because every time I see him in a wreck, I look up at RC and he's hanging out in the race control room. So maybe the Sour Patch Kid for another reason. All right, we stick to Connor Gibson, which a round of applause went out there when he did do that slide job up in front of Mark Allen Bivens to cut him off in trouble. Mark Allen Bivens is getting into the 82 here. Paul Wilson, huge pileup here on the backstretch.
Yeah, Paul Wilson got into the back of Connor Gibson. Connor Gibson seemed to have seen that wreck way before Mark Allen Bivens. Connor must have hit the brakes or something. Mark Allen Bivens and Connor Gibson both with a little bit of heavy damage, both front and back. Paul Wilson, not sure what happened to him, but he was just sideways, sitting on that high lane. Pretty much where you don't want to be, I would say.
Wow. Take a look here from the Goodyear blimp view. Exit of turn 2, ricochet off the wall.
Heavy hit. Yeah, like I was saying, you cannot counter steer. Don't even try it.
You know, taking a look at it, hindsight, it looks like Bivens might have saved Connor Gibson by pre-spinning him.
There's a possibility of that.
Watch right here where Bivens goes ahead and knocks Connor, so Connor's almost able to completely avoid the wreck and got
Save
caught
yourself.
only on the quarter
Go
panel.
on without me.
Wow. Nails him. All right. Normally I call this a fire sale. Just about everybody coming down pit road. 4 drivers elect not to. Curtis Yancey, Benjamin Lacey, Ricky Hart, and Marshall Crocker Sr. Decide not to come down. Everybody else is coming on down into pit road. I believe Bill Harkins is staying out. All right. What a race. 8 cautions here on the night. 7 are unaccounted for out there, which should not have happened. Only one of them was a stage. One of these days I'll figure out how to program a stage caution in. That way it'll stop counting like that. What do you say we talk about Perfect Shine Auto Spa?
Oh, I love Perfect Shine Auto Spa.
You love them because they're a caution replay sponsor. All right, so Benjamin Lacey out there being our stage winning sponsor. Our stage Lacey out there. That should be from Jim Williams Auto Works, as he won stage 1. He was able to hang in there, currently holding in the second position. I would say a lot of strategy is being played out there by a driver like Benjamin Lacey, who's been scrambling around to come up with an answer here to Yancey. Yancey has been doing an awesome job out there. Normally he's pushing people around, but it makes you question, when you see guys doing so well. I'm not saying guys doing so well that don't. Curtis Yancey does do well, but when you start mixing some of the big names that were missing here tonight, if we had Nick Nickerson and Cody Welch out here, I mean, would this be a completely different race?
I would assume so, but at the same time, Curtis Yancey seemed to figure it out so much more than the rest of the field. A lot of these guys that do usually contend with Cody Welch and Nick Nickerson, to be able to beat them as much as he has so far, you got to think there's still a chance he'd be right where he is right now. But we do want to talk about Benjamin Lacey finally just starting in a good place. Benjamin Lacey's been started all the way in the back every restart, and Curtis Yancey's been up front, and every single time Benjamin Lacey's been able to almost just about get up there with him. I think Benjamin Lacey really just needs a good start right here. I think he'll be able to get around Curtis Yancey and possibly create a little bit of a gap.
I would say if I were Benjamin Lacey right now, he's gonna watch Curtis Yancey rotate up the track. Expect Lacey to drop down to the bottom and see if he can creep right back on him. Just, good Lord, 4 wide here in the back. Right now, Brett Guzik caught on the second outside lane here. Whoa. Guys need to calm it down a little bit here. Guys are shoving each other around. 77 of Crocker Sr.'s in some trouble.
Yeah, Crocker Sr. in the Hornet's nest. Not exactly where he wants to be. A little bit sideways coming out of the corner.
I just see David Lakey slide off. Yes.
All good, though. To the back. Oh, more
Nope.
cars. Calamity in the corner.
I'll say, stay with Lakey. I see there's a pile up entering 2. And I think, ouch, who was that? Dude, what is going on here?
Ninth caution of the night. I should say 8th real crash caution of the night.
Boy, on the producing end of this, I'm just about as confused as anybody else out there. Something. Here's the 16 of Hunter Musselwhite. Looks like he's in too fast. Oh, Connor Gibson around.
8 out, Connor Gibson. Gibson going to be able to save it. Oh, 8 goes around and by himself. Down the back straightaway, goes around.
Whoa.
Not a great race for that 16 car just yet.
So Connor Gibson also gets nailed on this one. We thought David Lakey was going to be the biggest tumbler. Watch out, Connor
Yeah, the 16.
Gibson.
Just tried to get around that 10 car from McGill, going a little bit slow. Messed up his entrance. Probably got on the brakes a little bit too late. Got right into Connor Gibson. What lap is that 16 car on?
Currently down on lap 84. I think that gives him about 13 laps down.
Always sucks to get taken out by, someone who's not on the same lap as you, not running for the same positions. So definitely sense some frustration from Connor Gibson and everyone else involved in that. But, Musselwhite's just trying to do what he can. Got put in a little bit of an odd position, and obviously things didn't go the way anyone wanted them to.
Yeah. Last time I saw something like this, it was a feedback issue on somebody's wheel. They went into the turn and they had no idea how fast they're going, and sometimes that's the only way you can tell other than visuals. You start diving into the turn, and you're kind of waiting to, I don't know, Jackson, you've done it before. You head into the turn, and the wheel should feel a certain way. And if I'm going in too hot, you notice I'm turning, it's even harder to turn, and and it keeps going straight, and you know you're in trouble. Something's wrong. You know, we gotta pump the brake or something. Let it steer brake, trying to get it to come back to you. And I'm just wondering, you know, guys who end up not having feedback or feedback, I would say offset here, that you know there may be the possibility that we may not be feeling enough force feedback, and we may be feeling it's like a video game controller, and we're heading into the turns just way too fast.
You know, there's always a chance of that. I have never quite experienced that. The majority of my sim racing career, I've been no force feedback. I could probably drive just about as well with no force feedback as with force feedback. A lot of my time, you know, on the computer racing has been keyboard and controller. So, you know, my nice Fanatec wheel that I have now is I'm a lot faster with it. I'm a lot, lot easier to drive with it. But, you know, I couldn't say that I necessarily know how that feels.
Whoa. All right, Stella, if you're tuned in out there, we found somebody who didn't use force feedback. We had a guy that even after a race, he would not be sweating afterwards, and I said that's because he never fought the wheel. There's no way, you know what I mean? Most of these times, if you get force feedback, you hear these guys, and they're still gasping for air, just fighting that wheel the entire race. So, boy, I didn't know that, man. I didn't know that. All right, what do you say we get back on the green?
Yeah. Green flag down the front straightaway. Curtis Yancey leads us back to it again. Ricky Hart Jr. now looking to the inside of Benjamin Lacey. He's going to take second away from Benjamin Lacey. Brandon Jackson took my advice, put the phone down. Back up front, he's looking for third as well. He's going to get down to the inside. 3 wide for third. Benjamin Lacey trying to hold it on that outside. A little bit of looseness. Well, that 7 car, but he's going to hold third as of now.
Great job controlling the tail wag there by Lacey as he is caught right in the middle of all the fours. He's the middle one out of the 5, currently getting away here. Ricky Hart Jr. knocking down his fastest time through turn 1 and 2. This guy's on a roll, but it's going to come to a quick stop. Bob Berry involved in this one, and Bob Berry, I don't know if this is on his own doing, as Jackson Duke got caught up yet again. This poor guy just keeps getting maimed here. Right now, I would probably say all eyeballs are looking up at Dalton Kilroy, as most of our cautions have come from somewhere here in the back 20. And I think they're going to start throwing the black flags out for quite a while.
Yes. I'm surprised they haven't been doing that too much already. You know, the 08, possibly. I haven't seen this crash just yet. He's had real bad luck all day. I would guess it's because he stole my name. You know, I just get a little cursed every time. The same lobby as me, and you're not me. So, a little bit too hard through 1, it looked like.
A little bit? Good Lord. Yeah. It looked like he full sent it in here.
Too hard through 1.
Yeah, I don't want to be a butthead, but he hit the brake? All right, let's see this full speed here. Just look at the distance. Oh, God. Bob Berry gets to turn into the outside wall.
It was almost a great save for that 08 car. I did not notice that Mark Allen Bivens also heavily connected to this incident. Hard in the outside wall, Mark Allen Bivens goes. I believe Mark Allen Bivens is out of his fast repair. He already had some damage there. That might take him out of this race for good.
Here's Berry. Down into the 9. And then 9, I wonder if it broke something, because the 9 of Willie Everham went straight up the track. We'll check in on Bivens here in just a moment. I want to see. It looks like the wheel's still turning. At least that's a positive.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
All right, Mark Allen Bivens, dude, what happened here, man? Here we go. Dodges. Gets out of there in the 08. Oh, clips him. And the 08.
That had to have been a shock for him. Just got his right rear. I bet he didn't even see it when he was in his cockpit. Until it was too late. Stayed as low as he could.
Wow, what a wild turn of events. Mark Allen Bivens is going to be coming down pit road here to fix a good chunk of this damage. I'm not showing anybody out there. in the infield car care center, so everybody should still be okay. But looking close, is that a blown engine?
That looks like a blown engine right there. Mark Allen Bivens out of this one.
Yep, that's it. Mark Allen Bivens will not be rejoining us here tonight, I wouldn't think. Seeing that we are less than 60 laps left to go. Wow. So he will hang out and go ahead and see if he can help the rest of his team out there. For Young Gun Motorsports. Checking in on Young Gun Motorsports out there. I am not showing how it is going. Jackson, you gotta be kidding me, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. That's impeccable. All right, we get back to our drivers out here on the track. Double wide, and we are. How many cautions are we at so far? 10. 10 cautions.
Yeah, that would be caution number 10, minus the stage caution. So I suppose that'd be 9.
I'm almost at a loss of words here. All right, 54, 50, 53 laps left to go here. Back under green, all Yancey's race. Now unable to get a lucky break. Freshest tires here in the front go to Brandon Jackson. Last time he put them on was lap number 91. That's going to give him almost a 50-lap advantage here. Curtis Yancey's tires.
Yeah, should be really good for Brandon Jackson. Brett Guzik also with a lot of speed, being able to keep up with Brandon Jackson. Not sure the last time Brett Guzik pit, but I would guess it was a little bit sooner than Benjamin Lacey and Curtis Yancey. Yet Curtis Yancey still pulling away from Brandon Jackson with those 50-lap pressure tires. You got to think there's a chance they're just called as caution number 11 comes out. We need to bring cautions to the vet and fix cautions so that cautions can no longer breed cautions.
This guy.
My bad.
All right, I'm going to write that one down, too. I still have hugging it out over here on a post-it note. Do not think I left that one to go. Oh, my gosh. I'm looking to see who was involved in this one. I'm not showing currently how or why. We'll kind of pop up top and see if we can see it. Hang around the Everingham area. Oh! Yes. Number 9 loops it. Stella out there. I mean, up here commentating too, I don't even know how to respond to that. It's just like, okay. All right. That might be our cue here. For us to cut to commercial. We'll be right back.
I love
Racing Oils is invested in winning. With industry-leading at-track support, superior engineering, blended technology, and the World Championships to prove it, LAT is your premier choice for racing lubricants. Used by NHRA Pro-Mod champions Jose Gonzalez and Chris Thorne, along with their closest competitors, LAT Racing Oil continues to carry top-level racers to the winner's circle in all categories of competition. From engine oil to transmission fluid and gear oil, LAT has you covered from end to end in your race car. A nationwide dealer network means easy access to our products as well. Visit LATRacingOils.com for more.
All right, everybody, we bring it back here from commercial break. Still down in pit road goes Willie Everingham. This will be oddly enough, his 10th visit tonight down the pit road. I hate to see this happen for him. Right now, I'm wondering, with drivers like Benjamin Lacey taking tires back on lap number 58, Curtis Yancey, I'm thinking they're thinking this. I'm thinking that they're thinking, all right, let's see that 10 times fast. That there may be a possibility this is going to be caution after caution after caution, and there's going to be no need in replacing any sort of tires out there. I would not want to start in the back.
No, absolutely not. At the same time, though, starting in the back, obviously, it's going to be dangerous getting around all these crashes, but at the same time, on those fresh tires starting in the back, being able to get through the field should be fairly easy as long as you can avoid the crashes. That's how I always got back to the front. You saw me multiple times, all sorts of times, whatever, past season 13. I'd always be in the back, and I'd always find my way back up to the front just because I would be able to not crash, really. And so as long as these drivers can do that, I think they'd have a real good chance, like a driver like Benjamin Lacey or Brett Kuzik.
Well, you definitely had plenty of code brown moments, but I'm sure OxyClean took care of that. As we get ready to go back under green here. See, I'm going to try to trip you up this time. Here we go. Lap number 112, 113 at the line. Curtis Yancey, here we go, and good Lord. Was that Pedro Leon going ahead and smashing the wall?
And David Lakey, I think.
Oh my gosh. All right, we'll double check that. Remind me to check that our green flag restart here. I got a feeling around McQuiggan here, up here in 7th, is about to get in some trouble. Right now, the 19. Oh, boy, I'll tell you what, guys out there, this is looking some rough racing. 3 wide out here on the track. Guys giving no room at all. Right now, McGill does hang down on the bottom there of Jason Greenwell. Greenwell trying to see if he can squeak on through as he's on the edge of our screen. We got our eyes really fixated here on McQuiggan. Right now, he goes up and gets caught here by Foster. Yeah, here we go. Jason
Every
Greenwell.
single car just made contact out of turn number 4. Everyone keeps it going 2 by 2, heading into turns number 1 and 2. Joshua McQuiggan trying to make it work on the high side. Kevin Foster and Ethan Skorsky had a little bit of contact that last time by. Ethan trying to hold that high line. It's been fast for him all day. McGill trying to make it 3 on the bottom. Not going to be able to make it that time by. Joshua McQuiggan with a big run on the outside. He's going to give a little bit of an arrow push to Ethan Skorsky. He's going to clear Kevin Foster. He goes low, takes that air off Kevin Foster's nose. Now has his eyes set on Peter Murphy.
Kevin Foster almost seems a little agitated out there and wants to fight up toward the front. It's a good sign here from Dylan Wheel out there. Watching Kevin Foster here in the number 8. He's going to be able to stay away from Josh McQuiggan there, who loses a little bit of traction exiting. Turn number 4 holds on to it, though. Everybody seems to be on the up and up here as we get a few green flags under our belt. We continue this charge here toward the front, and I would say a lot of guys no more 3 wide here. They've got to figure out how to settle this down. Austin McGill just going to start trying to pick them off one by one.
Austin McGill.
Oh, passenger. Oh, caution, please. Throw the caution out quick. No, caution. RC.
There it is.
Oh my gosh. RC, we might need an override. Oh my gosh.
They should give us a big red button in the booth that just throws the caution.
Yeah.
Or I suppose a big yellow button.
Yeah, like it rings like a red or yellow phone. Yeah. Like beep beep.
Oh yeah.
Okay. First of all, I do want to see the restart here with David Lakey. What happened here?
Oh yeah, we should watch the replay of the restart.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for reminding me.
No problem.
So Pedro Leon in the 07, when he gets started here, and then the accordion. Bro.
Connor Gibson seemed to have had a miss shift in a sequential.
Even so, yeah, I was wondering, he started in 4th gear. But even so, when happened, the caution comes out because of the same driver. Currently, Connor Gibson shot there. Here's the 13 rotating down. 31's just praying he can avoid this.
75 car did not let off or hit the brakes at all, but he made it through. So,
what did why did the 13 all of a sudden lose power? Because we good Lord.
Whoa. Christopher sideways through the whole corner. We got to go back a little bit farther to see where this started. Christopher Fiera seemed to get into the other Christopher heading into the corner way over set turn 3, it seems. Sideways on entry, forgot there was a corner there, into the one car. They're both sideways, tandem, drifting. Lots of points out of them, not enough smoke, though.
There's the touch. One comes back down. Osborne gets him. Sends the 13 back up. Harkins in the back of Bassinger. 13 coming back down.
Here comes the 75. I'd love to watch it from the 75's cockpit. I feel like that'd be a great view.
What in the world is happening here? So where's Connor Gibson? I keep losing him. Here he is. Connor Gibson.
He's right there.
75 of Bob Berry just said, "This is it. I got a halo over me. We got to do this. We got to do it."
I need to see his onboard.
Yeah, let me see if I can get him here. Bob Berry. And
he's not slowing down for anybody. Those RPMs stayed consistent out of the corner. Made it through.
He said, "I got this. Follow Bill. He will lead the way." My gosh.
Everyone's going to hit Bill just because that's how it works. And he knows that if he follows Bill, everything will bounce the other way.
Like the plow on the front of a train. Oh my gosh. Well, in an odd turn of events, I think everybody decided now would probably be a good time to pit. This will be the last time they get fuel and tires. That's going to leave our top 7 drivers. Jackson, Sikorsky, Foster, McGill, and McQuiggan came down on lap 91 or 97. And we're going to go ahead and count Eddie Haggy and Ricky Hart in there as well, as they came down on lap 103. Everybody else, lap 119.
Have we calculated yet how long a fuel run exactly is?
Fuel run should technically be about 80 laps.
Okay. So they should be able to make it, Sikorsky, Jackson, McGill, Foster should be able to make it to the end from here. Obviously going to be on a little bit older tires, a little bit of a disadvantage, possibly later in the run, but that's the question. Will we get a later run? If it keeps on going like this and, Ethan Sikorsky and Brandon Jackson are able to just stay where they are without getting involved, there's a chance they'll be there right at the end.
See, now most guys will top off that fuel tank to make just enough laps. I wouldn't do that. Something tells me we might have green-white checkers in our future. Might want to have just a little extra fuel. 11 unscheduled cautions here for the night. Let's try to get this one back underway. Perfect Shine Auto Spa. Kelly Queel was out there nervous about being their accountant.
Benjamin Lacey Hart on the outside wall. Foster and Yancey also into the outside wall out of turn number 2. Benjamin went around early in the corner. Not what Benjamin Lacey needed. Still going around on the back straightaway. Yoway involved in his probably about 10th incident of the night.
But the wreck was all the way back in. As a broken
oh no,
toe
Eddie
link.
Haggy.
Oh boy, I hope we're not getting ready to click on the tally. Oh, please never.
I sure hope not.
Yeah, I know. It puts me in a real pickle here. All right, Benjamin Lacey. Let's see what happens. All I look back as I saw a car turn into a frisbee.
Surprisingly, not as much damage as I thought there would have been off of this right there. His front bumper came off, then went back on with no damage. Then got a little bit of damage in the right front. A lot more cars. Curtis Yancey and Kevin Foster went around out of turn 2 right afterwards.
What happened?
Still wrecking right here.
That's why I was trying to hang on. I was like, dude, what? How'd this happen so much later? Okay, maybe we'll stick with Eddie Haggy here. We saw what happened to Benjamin Lacey. There was some contact back here.
Yeah, Curtis Yancey got a real good run through the corner.
Oh,
Kevin Foster got loose.
We not just talk about tires.
Eddie Haggy, you better wait. You better wait. You better wait. Yeah.
And that's how we broke the toe link.
anyone watching at home, that's what you don't want to do. Is you definitely got to wait for the field to go by. Definitely sketchy to go across the track like that. Obviously, there's a lot of room on that high side that those cars could have gone, but not everyone's expecting car to be coming across the track under caution. A lot of people are reaching over their mouse, clicking stuff on their black box, thinking if they're going to pit, whatever else they're looking at. So not everyone's always expecting that. Tough situation. Freddie Hagee and everyone involved.
Also, when you're in the cockpit, you really can't see to the sides. All you got is right out the helmet visor. So you depend on your spotter to tell you what's happening, but remember, we are in a simulator. The spotter doesn't understand in front or behind when you're sideways on the track. I don't quite know how to, as a spotter, how do you respond? Car to the inside when they're all to the inside when you're facing down. So I don't, it can't work. I think there's a hotkey you can set to look to the side, but
there is, but you still really can't see much. But however, when he was facing backwards, you could still see all the cars coming. So it's a little bit difficult of a situation to try to take the blame anywhere off of him. That was definitely sketchy. There is a new AI spotter that I've been seeing going around the internet that it's really mean to you. It's really funny. But it definitely tells you a lot more information than the current iRacing spotter does.
Cool. I use Crew Chief. Crew Chief will say your name and tell you try not to mess up, well, in a nicer term. Try not to mess up before the race and things like that. And I'm actually able to program how often he updates me somebody's there. Now, I moved it down to 0.2 of a second. It'll say outside, still there. That way I know when I can merge, because as soon as I'm clear, I want to make a move. I don't want to be in the jam that I'm in. iRacing is not as fast, but yeah, this AI one, we might have to check it out, especially if they start
3 wide.
Interesting.
Entering turns number 1 and 2, Curtis Yancey looks low into the corner panel. McGill just barely touches his rear bumper, trying to make it happen. Brandon Jackson on those fresh tires pulling away. Joshua McQuiggan in the highest place he's been all race today, running that high side. McGill trying to make it work, can't quite make it there. Big run on the bumper. McGill. Curtis Yancey goes low, riding on board with Ricky Hart Jr. behind Peter Murphy, trying to make it work on the bottom side. Peter Murphy running it up high, using that run. Can't quite get as much as he wants to, though. Cars in front of him starting to pull away. Ricky Hart Jr. sees the speed up there, also goes high. Gonna have a big run on the front straightaway. Only gets a little bit tight out of the corner into the outside wall.
Yeah, a couple of drivers are making some moves out here, trying to come up with a different answer out there. Driver who ended up getting in some trouble here, Brett Guzik, seems to have gone off track, already down a lap here. I don't know what happened in the 04. We'll try to peek in and see if anything happens. Right now, he is driving like he's on fire right now. I don't know if he's headhunting right now. I hope not. The 04 said he went off the track and returned back. It was enough he actually had to put it in reverse.
Oh, hit the rear bumper of Connor Gibson. Got a little tight on entry. Almost hit the outside wall. Going to be able to correct it. Bill Harkin's going to be able to get around him.
Yeah, right now I'm hoping Brett Guzik is the new boy. I think I'm not pointing fingers saying he is, but quick little check here as what happens. Brett Guzik loops it. And loops. Whoa!
Once more.
Yuck. And just unable to get back to it. He almost high tops it out there in the grass. Quicken getting up to the second place. McGill sitting third. Yancey now fourth. And Yancey right now trying to get through all that dirty air to get back to the lead. Brandon Jackson enjoying his time out front. He was racing dirt earlier here before he got down here into practice, so he is definitely warmed up. McQuiggan gaining 24 here on the night, and Yancey going for third.
Yancey trying to make it work down on that bottom. He's got a little speed, got a little grip. That 10-car McGill keeps on getting a little sideways out of every single corner while running that high side. You got to think that's got to be wearing down his rear tires, not getting as good of a run. A little bit of contact entering turns number 1 and 2. A little bit of a run down the back straightaway for Curtis Yancey. Not going to be enough that time by. McQuiggan now gaining time on Brandon Jackson. both of those leaders part-time drivers, now side by side behind Curtis Yancey. That is Christopher Bassinger trying to make it work as well.
Yeah, great job.
Peter Murphy going high.
Yep, great job by the zero Foxtrot driver of Curtis Yancey, fighting his way up to the front. Austin McGill did try to pinch him down toward the bottom and had no luck. Able to grab a hold of it here. Watch Yancey go back down and cut off Chris Bassinger. I tell you what, that is a driver who's been all over the track here tonight. He's been in trouble, and now he's up here battling for a top 5. Just needs to get the Toyota Peter Murphy behind him there as Chris Bassinger currently sits in 6th. Rotates back to the high line. That's going to allow Ricky Hart to slide underneath, and everything all quiet on the eastern front here. But as caution comes out, Brandon Jackson or is it Josh McQuiggan who has the lead?
It looks like they're going to give it to Joshua McQuiggan at the timing loop.
Holy cow.
Just barely ahead.
Awesome job here by Josh McQuiggan, gaining 25 positions in the number 19 Napa machine. Boy, he is definitely showing these guys what to do. 2 separate incidences happened here for this caution. And looking at Brett Guzik here on lap 134, not only did you say he was tight and coming down in the pit lane, but once again, loops it a second time. Yes, unfortunately, here's an infield wall, and he greets it, but smacks that. But that is not our caution. Our caution's going to go back here to Bob Berry. And I'm trying to find the 75 machine. Take a look. Here's Berry. I don't think this is himself. Pedro Leon is around. Yep, that's who I figured. As I was looking, as they were saying, a second vehicle's involved, but I didn't know if it was Berry first or it was the Leon first who ended up going around. Pit stops happening. I would say a lot of guys were choosing the pit. It's going to get dicey. There we go. A little looseness off Osborne. Corrects again.
Tries
Berry
to correct it.
See if that ends up being the end of his night here. I saw he had the tow. Minute and a half sitting down in the pit box.
I would guess probably at the end of his night going to go a couple laps down here. No way to get back from that. Oh, actually, I believe he might have been already a couple laps down. So definitely no getting back from that. But Joshua McQuiggan, still our leader. Brandon Jackson, I believe, went down pit road. Crazy strategy from Brandon Jackson. I think he had enough fuel to make it to the end. Obviously, he was a little bit slower than Joshua McQuiggan, but he never knows. He could have had it later in the run.
Yeah.
So, to the back.
Yeah, odd choice here by Brandon Jackson, but that was only the 3rd time it says that he visited pit road. Yeah.
Brandon Jackson is sending me Instagram reels.
You gotta be kidding me. You know, I broadcast for a league one time that the guy was sending messages in the chat on the broadcast while racing, and they penalized him for 5 races, took away his points run, and put him on probation. I mean, that was, they, and then he was warned not to do it again, and then after he did, he was then suspended for 5 races. Yeah, it was, because it was, we were messaging, and we started creating cautions, and texting and driving should not be a thing. But, yeah.
Well, you know what? Brandon Jackson's been pretty clean all day. I think, maybe he deserves to scroll the internet just a little bit while racing.
All right, if the 99 bites it here, that's your fault. You said it. You said it, okay? All right. Appreciate Perfect Shine Auto Spa for joining in here tonight for our caution replay. This is the Filming the Wild 160. We are breaking below our 20-lap mark here to the end. I think a lot of you guys are going to be pretty excited to see this one end here. 13 cautions at Iowa. Obviously, I wouldn't say it's a whole lot of lack of talent here. It's lack of car, horrible track. Let's go ahead and get back at it. 20 laps left to go. McQuiggan getting on the restart. I got my eyes on Austin McGill, who's sitting second. McGill slides up a little bit. Peter Murphy in the 38 Toyota to the outside. He's been strong all night, looking to see if he can fly around, but Curtis Yancey looks like he's got a hot potato underneath in his hands. High side, low side, high side, just sides low, dives back under, gets Austin McGill into the rear view. But can Yancey hold on to it? He tail wags it coming out. Across the line, he's going to go for second. Peter Murphy in trouble.
Yeah, Curtis Yancey used the bumper that time by in turns 3 and 4. He's not afraid to do it again to Peter Murphy. He gets in front of him. He's now going to get set behind Peter Murphy. Still keeps running that inside lane. Not quite working out for him. Christopher Bassinger looking outside. Caution flag comes out there. 4 wide. Still wrecking. Still wrecking. Still wrecking. That's the end of it.
I've got a front row seat to Harkins going ahead and sending David Lakey the rest of the way around. Looked a little too slow. He said, nope, nope, nope. Do not want to get rear-ended. I am praying this is not our guy. All right, now, horrible night here for Benjamin Lacey. Guy gets on the pole here tonight in the number 1 position. And both our guys who started in the front row are currently sitting 20th and 21st. Wow. Talk about flipping the field here. Let's go back and take a look. All right. Lacey on the high side. Whoa!
There it comes. There goes the 08. Love the way he slid past there. Somehow facing towards the right. And with that much velocity, still somehow at the inside of the track. I don't know.
That's like when you come home and the kids greet you and they're like, hey, Daddy, and then all of a sudden the dog flies in and slides and takes everybody out. That's what that looked like. Oh my gosh. What was that? Okay, so first of all, what happened to John Osborne? Did Osborne try to correct and then it just struck? Because it looked like 3 people broke loose at the same time. Notice how Brandon Jackson in the back, toward the bottom of our screen. Okay, the 13 sent it. The 84 got into the 99. Ethan Sikorsky in the best spot. And there's
great
Kevin
save
Foster.
by Brandon Jackson. Never mind. I take that back. I apologize.
Look at Brett Guzik.
Really want to see that 08 come sliding in one more time. I don't know how he did that.
I know, that was pretty funny. All right, one more time. Full speed. So 2 people got dumped on this turn.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
Lacey's
Benjamin
locked
Lacey
up. Ready?
came down. I'm not sure if Brandon. I'm not sure if Brandon Jackson came down or if David Lakey came up into him. But Brandon Jackson doesn't seem to have too much damage. I would guess he's going to stay out.
All right, not to stir anything up here, Jackson, but take a look up at race control. Something's going on out there, so we'll see what comes of this.
Benjamin Lacey sharing his screen to Dalton Kilrow.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going on. Currently, I believe it's showing in, so he may have had to tow. Did Eddie Haggy just disconnect? Where's Eddie Haggy?
50-50 chance on if he left on purpose. I believe Eddie Haggy was out of fast repairs, got involved in that incident, probably got some good damage. Either he blinked out enough to where he disconnected, dropped all his packets, or he decided he was done for the night, parked it. Either way, we're going green once again. A couple laps to go.
All right. Woo. 14 to go after 14 cautions here. McQuiggan back under green flag. I already see 4 wide there in the back. I'm not even going to rotate there. I want to stick with our top 5 here. I believe Connor Gibson and Willie Evernham are already getting matched up. And there we go.
There it goes. Jason Greenwood also going around right before that caution near the front. Looks like he saved it, though. He was real sideways, it looked like. But no one giving each other any bit of room towards the front or the back. Pretty much the same type of racing everywhere. But as we saw that time by Joshua McQuiggan, pulling that more Curtis Yancey-like line that we saw him doing towards the start of the race. Curtis Yancey has chilled that arc out just a little bit, now runs a little bit lower, but McQuiggan running very high on entry to 1. Curtis Yancey just trying to get around Peter Murphy.
All right, so John Osborne is involved in this caution. Connor Gibson goes around. Whoa, come on. I think what would get me here as well is the speed that we're going. We're not really seeming that fast. And the mistakes that are being made. I'm wondering if we got these guys, around 180 and banked the turns 3 times as much, if these guys will be able to survive.
Well, you know what? 73-degree track, did you say it was?
I believe so. We can double check and see what it is now.
Obviously not too hot, but these tires still able to overheat, especially with these slides like this. Definitely, even when you're going slow, they're still pretty hard to control when you're sliding around. Those thick or wide tires and short tire walls, they have a lot of grip, but the more grip you have, the less grip you have when you lose grip. So even at slow speeds, still very difficult to control that car.
Yep, tons of damage
Benjamin
here
Lacey.
to the Benjamin Lacey. Yep, that's a heartbreaker for the GFR team, and I'm hoping there's a chance that we are able to talk to the number 7 out there, and maybe get a little piece of information out of the number 7 and see if we can kind of smooth things out a little bit. Benjamin Lacey, rough night here tonight, buddy.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get in the back of the pack.
Yeah, well, dude, it seems to be caution after caution after caution. And I mean, I get it, kind of. But I was going to say, you are sponsoring this race out here, so can you give me a little bit on Filming the Wild out here, man, since I don't think I'm going to be talking to you here in a podium position.
Oh, yeah. So Filming the Wild, they are a YouTube channel that they just kind of give you sometimes some behind-the-scenes content of what's going on how things are pushed together for documentaries and wildlife documentaries, to be specific. And other times they're just little short videos that they put together. One of them is kind of out there about in Joshua Tree, California. So that one's a little bit older, but still a pretty good watch. So YouTube channel all about trying to get awareness of the wild and ways that we can make sure that our human and nature can coexist together and they benefit from each other.
Awesome job. All right, man, let's bring it back to racing here. GFR team has been pinballed around out here. I'm assuming you guys are hoping for better things to happen at Vegas next week.
Yeah, hopefully some better stuff at Vegas next week. I do love Vegas a lot, but I think a lot of the issues tonight, I think, is short track, but there are some bumps that next gen's got to handle, and then I don't know. Felt like the race to the stage was actually a lot of fun, pretty good, and then after the stage break, it just all seemed to kind of go downhill from there. I don't know what changed. We had 100 laps to go at that point, so just kept getting worse and worse and worse as we got closer to the end here, and turned out to be what it is. So haven't seen really any of the replays yet, so I don't know what the cause is. I don't know if it's just aggression or racing incidents or what, but is what it is, and go on the next week.
All right, man. Good luck to you out there, buddy, and we'll let you get back to the GFR team as we round this one out, buddy. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
As we saw, McGill got around Curtis Yancey on that restart. Curtis Yancey down to 4th this time by Joshua McQuiggan holding off the 2 cars behind him, the side-by-side. That's exactly what he wants to see. Coming to 7 laps to go this time by Joshua McQuiggan. I believe this is going to be his first ever time going for the win in Bandit Racing League, especially on a short track like this. Good to see him up there. Big gaggle of cars back here. 3 wide entering turns. Number 1 and 2, Kevin Foster sliding a little bit up into Curtis Yancey, but Curtis Yancey just filing back and back. Not where he wants to be.
I guarantee you, Yancey won't take much more of that. He's more of a pusher. He's not give up too much. Kevin Foster filing up for 5th, and he gets it. He gets it only because Ethan Sikorsky goes ahead and full sends himself straight into the wall. Right now.
No caution for Ethan Sikorsky.
Huge damage. Tire's still rotating, so we still got a toe link attached. But Christopher Bassinger knocking down the fastest time of the night, not only for himself, but the entire track with a 23.65. Finally gets a breath of fresh air out there, and he is definitely on a roll. Let's see what he looks like here next time around. 23.65, and he matches it 23.78. So right now he is holding on to 4th. No Chevy in sight here in the top 5. As we start stretching it out, I think McQuiggan is definitely happy about this. If he is able to just pull away and make it happen. McGill wants to say something there to Peter Murphy as he nudges the back bumper, letting him know he's there. Keep going. Here we go. 4 to go.
Caution flag is out.
Oh,
yeah.
What do you say Ethan Sikorsky got in it? No.
Well,
the
Bob
first
Barry as well.
Yeah, the first smack to the wall I think might have overheated the tires, and then he's been driving on glass since. Ethan Sikorsky last pit on lap 124, so they should be fairly fresh. Ugh. I can almost hear the sigh from the crowd. Pick up a little bit of wind there on the track. Everybody, another caution. All right, let's take a look. 94. Trying to drive through.
94 with some handling issues after he hit that outside wall. I would guess. Hit the brakes, Ethan. Sliding down to the grass. What happened to Bob Barry? Oh, does Ethan go back around? No, Bob Barry by himself, it seems.
Yeah, I wonder if he was trying to correct to avoid it. Let's take a look. Bob Barry. Ethan Sikorsky's actually behind him. Oh, tell me there's oil on the track.
Ethan saw Bob do it and thought, maybe I'll do that too. That looks fun.
Dude, I thought they did it like simultaneously. That's why I'm trying to get kind of higher in the air here. Let's see. Look. Off the wall. And Bob Barry goes around. Oh my gosh. I got one for Benjamin Lacey. Filming the wild. Have a film in this wild race where racers and the yellow flag can coexist. Man. All right. That's, wow, 16 cautions here on the night. Well, Bill Harkins said something about this. He said we would end up caution after caution after caution. And we're definitely getting a slew of them here. First green, white checkered coming up.
Gonna be intense for sure. Obviously, Yancey all the way back in 7th. He doesn't ever give up hope, but definitely expect to see him using the bumper heading into turns 1 and 2. Joshua McQuiggan been able to get away on every single restart. Should not be an issue for him if he's able to just knock down turn 1 and that restart real good. Might have it in the bag. Murphy been able to keep up a little bit on these restarts. Who knows, maybe if there was a little bit of a longer run without a caution happening immediately, without anyone being right on his bumper, he might be able to catch up to the 19 car of Joshua McQuiggan, but we haven't seen that yet, and I don't think we're gonna.
Bassinger has moved up to the 4th position out there. Currently on the outside, he will be of Austin McGill. He's gained 23 on the night. McQuiggan's gained 25. Right now, I would say he is a good runner for this. He'll be starting behind the leader. And I think with Bassett knocking down the fastest time of the night so late into this race, especially with this track rubbering up, if we end up back under caution again with Bassett to the inside, there's a chance McQuiggan might be in some trouble.
I think you're definitely right about that. Even with him behind him, definitely going to be in some trouble. If Christopher is able to get around the 38 on the restart, is able to time it behind the 19 a lot better than the 38, because it's always much easier to time it with the leader when you're behind the leader, as opposed to next to the leader. As you were saying, can't see out the right side or the left side real well. But we're about to go green here. First green right check of the night. Green flag. Joshua McQuiggan takes it to restart zone.
Yep, Passenger's time to strike is now. Peter Murphy goes and rotates up. He knows what's at stake here. Rotates to the high side. Austin McGill gonna see if he can fire to the inside. Only need one time by, and the 99 of Brandon Jackson showing just that. Here we come up to the line. This should do it. White flag. Is it? White flag? Caution?
Yes, it is. White flag.
All right.
One more lap to go. Brandon Jackson puts McGill around. McQuiggan almost a full second ahead of Bassinger. Sideways goes Bassinger and Peter Murphy in front of the field. Yancey back up to second.
Yancey holds on to it. McQuiggan's going to get the win here. Yancey and Brandon Jackson. Look at these guys sending it around this turn. Oh, my gosh. And giving it up. Brandon Jackson, who had third, gives it up, giving it to Kevin Foster, who looks like he finishes the race in reverse.
A little bit of a demo derby there towards the end. The moment they got to the white flag, knew there was no more cautions left. Just everyone, no one giving anyone any bit of room. Definitely exciting finish. Not sure I liked the finish, but definitely an exciting finish. Good to see Joshua McQuiggan in victory lane. I think this is his first time in the Bandit Racing League, taking the checkered flag.
Yeah, not a bad job here by the 19 Ford. As we get a Canadian here in the winner's circle. Right now, a very interesting last lap there. Tons of tangle-ups. I think there were at least 5 incidents. I think the one that's the most heartbreaking to see the guys out there are Peter Murphy and Christopher Bassinger taking, kind of getting almost hooked at the same time and going around. I mean, I am kind of beside myself here at this last lap, brought to you by Apex Sim Racing. Take a look here over the top. Now this is when the white flag comes out. You see the 99 takes McGill and sends him out of there.
McGill got a little bit sideways. 99 did not let off. Completely finished him off. Door banging all the way through the corner. Peter Murphy gets sideways. Christopher Bassinger gets sideways. Yeah, that's just hard racing, you know. It's just two guys not giving each other any bit of room.
Yeah, but here's the finish. Was just able to squeak by the line there. That was the last lap from our chopper view here, looking on top, as everything was happening everywhere.
Did Crocker Jr. steal third from the 99 car of Brandon Jackson?
Yeah, Marshall Crocker, I'm showing currently junior. Yeah, Marshall Crocker Jr. got 4th. So let me check.
Kevin,
Yep, go ahead.
Kevin Foster and Marshall Crocker Jr. both slamming that outside wall coming to the finish. We talked about in practice, Bill said that he wanted it to be kind of strict on, I believe it was Bill. Could have been someone else. Might be putting words in his mouth. But, yeah, wall riding or even wall tapping, both of them slammed the wall out of the corner completely full throttle. Will that bite them in the butt? Who knows? Not sure if race control will really do anything about that, but definitely still unofficial results at the moment. But Joshua McQuiggan, most definitely Your winner, the Bandit Racing League, Filming the Wild 160.
All right, doing a great job here tonight here, Jackson. I know a lot of drivers out here have been shuffling back and forth whether they are happy about this race or not. I know a lot of people are going to be getting annoyed here with our guy who ended up finishing in second place there with Curtis Yancey. I'm noticing everybody's clumping up there in the lounge. I don't know if something is going to be discussed up there before we come here. Like I said, these are unofficial results, and they are squeezing and clamping down on this. So if you guys hold on just a moment, we're going to try to reel this back up. And we're going to back it back up here a little bit, figure out what happened, and hopefully talk to our top 3 drivers of Kevin Foster, Curtis Yancey, and Joshua McQuiggan.
LAT Racing Oils is invested in winning. With industry-leading at-track support, superior engineering, blending technology, and the World Championships to prove it, LAT is your premier choice for racing lubricants. Used by NHRA Pro Mod champions Jose Gonzalez and Chris Thorne, along with their closest competitors, LAT Racing Oil continues to carry top-level racers to the winner's circle in all categories of competition. From engine oil to transmission fluid and gear oil, LAT has you covered from end to end in your race car. A nationwide dealer network means easy access to our products as well. Visit LATRacingOils.com for more.
All right, everybody, we catch up with our third place finisher. Kevin Foster was just able to squeak it by here at the end. A lot of scrutiny is out there on the track of how this race went. Guys going through pit boxes, wall riding out there, but you seem to survive. Kelly Queel's pretty happy about that, seeing that the number 8 Ford makes it into the third place. And I got to tell you, that was a lot of hard work to get up here.
Wow. Thank you for all the fans for sticking with us. That's not the show that we want to put on. 17 cautions. We're a better league than this, and we'll get it cleaned up. So I apologize to all the ones that had to sit through the cautions. Sorry to SimTraX for that, but the finish, restarted 6th there. They were spinning left, right, forward. I went through a couple people. I got hit through the one car, and all the smoke cleared, and somehow came away with 3rd. So with a good battle there with Marshall to the line.
Dude, I have no idea how in the world you were able to come away right there at the end. I mean, there were 3 and 4 wide conditions out there where you were stuck in the middle. I mean, how in the world do you just hold it straight on a track that's bumping around with a set of next-gen cars that all they want to do is move sideways?
Left, right. You're braking gas same time to try to keep the front planted, and then if you give it too much gas, then the rear wants to step out. Extreme challenge tonight. The car track combination. It definitely could use some tweaking, but yes, it was. From a driver standpoint, once we got green, it's pretty fun track to drive. It's just, those in between when you're trying to make passes, everyone's slipping, sliding. It's fun. But I was able to do it better than 27 other guys, and a couple spots short.
Wow. All right. Next week is Las Vegas, man. And everybody, I'll save you the puns for Las Vegas, but with a track like that and leaving Iowa, I mean, do you have high hopes for the continued high finishes, or are we looking at, is the number 8 might be doomed for that track?
No, 1.5 miles definitely my specialty. Vegas is one of my favorite tracks on the track, right behind Kansas. Kansas is still my favorite, and it's great because these cars are pretty much wide open. and it has multiple lanes, so passing is going to be great. And I mean, track position's not going to pay as big of a struggle there, but if you got to be good and save some tire, because it's going to eat through the right front, and whoever can save the tire, especially on a long run when we get long runs next week, is going to be beneficial. And just make sure you got enough short run speed just in case we do get a couple late cautions, and hopefully see the 8 car up there again.
All right, shout out time before I send you back to your GFR teammates.
Shout out to all the guys at GFR. Thank you for first top 10 and podium of the year. So I really needed that. Struggle to the start of the season. SimTraX for always, for broadcasting and family out there supporting me. Big shout out to Big Red Propane and all the other sponsors on the car that makes us just cherish what we do a little bit more. And it's an honor to be here. I appreciate you guys doing this, and can't wait to see you next week.
All right, Kevin Foster, congratulations, buddy. I'll be down there with the GFR team after the race, so hang in there, and we'll talk a little bit about Vegas. Thanks, buddy, and congratulations on your third place finish.
All right, sir.
All right, we'll go ahead and I'll talk to Kevin Foster here in just a little bit, but Jackson Knock is catching up with Curtis Yancey down there, our number 2 finisher. And I'll tell you what, that guy was a pinball out there, but he seemed to find a homing missile straight for that checkered flag. Bum, bum, bum. Jackson Knock. Okay, Curtis, are you there?
I am. I didn't realize I was muted. Sorry about that. Curtis Yancey, 4th in points as of the last race. Should put you... believe ahead of Ethan Sikorsky and McGill. Should put you in about 2nd in points. Crazy race for you. Always up front, especially in the first half. I believe you led the majority of the laps this race. Not quite sure about that, but had those good restarts, running a completely different line than everyone else. You were running a little bit higher on entry when you ran the bottom of 1. Definitely got you a lot of speed. Tell me about how this race went for you and how you're feeling going into Las Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, feeling good. Unfortunately, won't be able to make Las Vegas, but tonight was pretty good. Led 95 laps, I think, out of the first 110, and then about lap 120 when everyone wanted to play their restart shenanigans and somehow miraculously become loose out of turn 1 or turn 2. Got the nose killed, made it tight, and just couldn't pass. Like even running on the bottom, having clean air, getting the nose knocked in kind of killed it, and then racing around the 10 and 38, just couldn't pass anybody. So glad to get out of here fucking 2nd. But unfortunately, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Well, yeah, obviously, could have had the lead, but definitely those last few laps had some issues. But everyone just in front of you, the sea parted, and you just right back up to 2nd from 7th or 8th that you went all the way back to. So definitely a good last lap for you, exactly what you needed. Great racing out there today, and though you can't make it to Las Vegas, I hope to see you next race after Las Vegas.
Yeah, likewise. It was fun.
All right, we are going to get your race winner, Joshua McQuiggan, in here now.
Yeah, let's find the number 19. It's his turn. Josh, you got a copy out there, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Oh, all right, dude. Tell me say your last name because we've been making our best guess up here.
Well, Jackson should know it. We used to race.
Yeah, I got it right.
Okay.
Yeah, he has it right. It is McQuiggan.
Okay. I was gonna say something completely wrong just to get him in trouble. Can you believe that? Boy, I should have slapped around. All right, dude. What a race here tonight, man. What an awesome job. 25 positions gained. What got you here?
Man, it was really just a track position game. I ran up through the field a little bit, and then we had the first group of cautions. Everybody kind of pitted, and we decided to stay out. Track position just ended up being key. I mean, nobody could pass me unless they were on super fresh rubber. So we drove up, finished 5th in stage 1, got a speeding penalty on pit road, and had to run it all back again. Luckily, we just found ourselves in the right positions here and worked our way to the lead. And once we got out there, clean air, clean track, could run whatever line I wanted to and didn't look back.
Well, yeah, great racing for you out there today. Part-time schedule. Tell me about more races that you're planning on making. I think this is the first time we've seen you all season. Is this going to be the only race you're able to attend, or are you going to be running for a championship?
Well, that would be incorrect. I ran Daytona, and then I
did
missed
you?
last week. But I believe it says I'm full-time under the roster. I believe.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure, but I think I should be. So I do plan on running the entire schedule. We just had to miss last week. I was out watching the World of Outlaws. Had a great
Very
time
nice.
there. Come back, win a race. And yeah, it's been a great weekend overall. Great just week in general.
Well, great racing out there. Good luck at Vegas, and I'm excited to see what you can do next week.
Yeah, definitely. I'd just like to give one shout out before I leave.
Oh, yeah, of course.
This win is dedicated to my grandpa, Bill, who just passed away last night. This means so much to go out here and win. He always enjoyed racing. He always enjoyed watching me race and hanging out, and he's going to be missed. I'm glad I could win this one for him.
Glad I could see you in victory lane, buddy.
Dang, dude.
Thank
All
you.
right, Josh, hang in there, buddy. Whew. Okay. Well, Josh McQuiggan. All right. Well, Grandpa's watching down and seeing him win this one, as he definitely got it right here at the end in the time when it counted. Boy, counted. Cautions, ton of them. An absolute ton of them here at Iowa. So, Las Vegas, we are, yeah, all right. We're
Very excited for Las Vegas.
Yeah, we're gambling for a better turnout.
All right.
Although I do appreciate all of you guys out there in the chat joining us here tonight. Shows you guys are willing to stick around and hang in there. I'll tell you what, it's definitely tough out there watching, and tough even here in the booth as these guys battle back and forth out there. But you got to think we are on point. I think it was 0.82 of a mile, and we got 30 drivers trying to stab it into a couple of turns here. There was going to be some bumping and smashing out there, but I didn't think as many as we've been spinning and turning around out there. Jackson, knock anything left to add here before we sign off, brother?
Well, you know what? With that amount of cautions, my dad texted me. He done did the calculations. With his rule set for Lucky Dog, if he was 56 laps down by the end of the race, he only would have been 36 laps down. So, great run for my dad if he would have raced. So, and with that, we ended at Iowa.
Genius. Absolute genius. All right, guys. Appreciate you joining us here at SimTraX Broadcasting. That is us bringing you the Bandit Racing League here on this fine Wednesday night. Be well, be safe, be kind, and we'll see all you guys next time.